Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show. Welcome to your Friday edition of Second Breakfast. Hope you guys are all doing well, getting ready for the big holiday weekend. We had a wonderful birthday party yesterday for Jackie's 18th birthday. It was the only day we had available with the holiday and stuff, so we wanted to make sure we didn't, you know, overlap and wear too many people out too quickly. Still have a lot of things to do to prepare for tomorrow. Big barbecue, family coming over, the usual stuff, some fireworks. And it looks like we have bow paints. No, I don't drink alcohol, as you guys know. Just it was just a lot of busy stuff. Too much pizza, and then I fell asleep on the couch and didn't wake up until to the point where it was too late to record a video. Um, how you doing, Bo? I'm right now. I'm painting the teeth on a beholder. I went with neon yellow. I'm then gonna add some other stuff to it to not make him so cartoony, but he is kind of cartoony looking. I mean, he's a freaking beholder. Well, I mean, what do you expect? But this is the Reaper. Oh God, I forget his. He's got an actual name. It's kind of a weird name. But I got it with the Dungeon Dwellers Kickstarter, and I'm almost embarrassed. The fireworks banned here for the summer. We're allowed to do the really crappy, you know, fireworks stand stuff, and they raised the price on those again. What cost me 100 last year was like 120 or 30 this year. Just really just sticking it to us, and we've got an amphitheater a couple of blocks away that uh, uh, does a really big fireworks show, and then there's another one at a couple of different locations. So from our house, if we sit in the right location, we get a really nice view of the shows. But I like to do a little bit of stuff here, especially growing up as a kid here in California. I was telling the folks at the fireworks stand when I was less than 10 years old, I could ride my bike up to the fireworks stand, hand them, 25, 30 cents, and walk away with, half a dozen different things. Uh, we were really big on the things that made smoke. Like, if you guys remember those little fireworks, they're about this big. They had little plastic rocket legs. I wish I could get some of those. Oh my God, not the firework. The firework would be cool too, but the little rocket legs would come off, and I could use them for a lot of things. But they would emit like blue, red, yellow, green smoke. They kind of almost looked like crayons the way they were packaged. What's up, squirrel? And we got these things called the fog cutter. Of course, we called them the fart cutter, and we would tape or tie those things to the back of our bikes, light them up, and then just ride around the neighborhood and just fill up the neighborhood with smoke for 10, 20 minutes, just pissing people off. Yeah, hey, you're not that much younger than me, and yeah, 30 cents. If we were lucky, we had a buck, and we'd walk away with a paper bag full of nonsense. Yeah, just it's the way it was. Squirrel, I saw your video this morning. I had a couple of questions. I'll just ask them here again. Um, does it have to be a metal base, or what's the deal? Because the static electricity, will it work on like a styrofoam base or a wooden base, or yeah, exactly. It's I already started hearing explosions a couple of days ago from the illegal fireworks. But if you know what you're doing, you can take legal fireworks and make them do some crazy shit. Speaking of which, one of the other crazy things we would do, it was we would take like a piccolo Pete or a screamer, any of the fireworks that were like long and skinny, and they They just made this horrible shrieking noise. But if you took the little plastic base off them and taped them or tied them to your favorite four-wheeled toy, lit them, they would rocket propel themselves across the street, which was also kind of fun. This was around the same time that the Evil Knievel toys were really, really big in my neighborhood. I had a couple of those things where you took Evil and you put it the motorcycle in that red thing and you just wound it up and then let go and you just go freaking screaming across the street over the little ramps and stuff we made. The stap applicator makes the grass upright. Glue keeps them in place. Yeah, right. But I noticed it looked like you were doing it on a penny, and I was wondering, it's like, well, you got to do it on a penny? Can you do it on any? Can you do it on a regular miniature base? Regular like plastic slot base. Will it work there? Nope. I've tested it with an envelope. As long as there's glue involved. Okay, so okay. That's what I figured, but it was just weird that you were using a penny to do it, and I know there's electricity involved. Awful, Ken, awful. I didn't know much about him other than, he jumped over things and did crazy crap on motorcycles and stuff like that. So as a kid, of course, we're gonna like be attracted to that stuff. Um, Between my brother and I, we had like you know all kinds of cool toys like that. And just we made ramps out of plywood and bricks and jumped over trash cans. Did all that stupid crap. Uh, my friend Bobby Encinas, he was like or is like the godfather of uh, BMX, and he is going to be in the Olympics this year. And that particular event is only going to be it's going to be in my area. Okay. um, and it's funny. uh, I knew him as a kid because we had this place called the Drop Off in Fountain Valley, California, kind of where some of it started. And it was just this literally dirt, like a part of the irrigation system, and then it would just drop. Okay, and it was like 30, 40 feet, maybe it was only 20, I don't remember but it was dangerous enough to where if you landed wrong, you might be going to the emergency room. And we used to hang out there, and we weren't really like really close friends or anything. And 50 some odd years later, I move out here to Palmdale, and he's over working at Walmart as the bicycle guy. He runs the bicycle department for uh, yeah, yeah. Actually, he might even be a little older than me. Just saying. But it turns out that when we were getting our first bikes for Jackie, his little Spider-Man bike with the training wheels and my cruisers and stuff, he's working there, and we started talking, and it's like, oh my god, no way. I used to do the same thing and blah blah blah. So we've become friends over the years. One of the only actual people I consider a friend here in Palmdale. I haven't met any gamers or anything, but it's weird how things like that happen. Small world, whatever you want to call it. But he's invited us to go see him at the Olympics, and fine. I mean, he's been he's gotten plenty of accolades over the years, but as he's getting older, it's nice to have one last hurrah, I suppose, in his passion, which is bicycles. He's always trying to get me to get a BMX bike for Jackie or for me, and I'm like, yeah, man, we're beach cruiser style, just yeah, we're not really one for doing any jumping and crazy crap anymore. I love to watch it, but landing hard on the seat just Done that one too many times. Not a big fan, but it's it's still kind of cool to because he's a very cool guy. Thinks a lot like most of us about things. Not happy with the way things are going, and I know that's tale as old as time, right? Old people, yelling, "Get off my lawn!" Right? Wait. There's going to be a 60-year-old guy at the Olympics. Yeah. Well, there's probably going to be a lot of them in the stands, but he's actually going to be interviewed on like four of the big major television networks and stuff like that. And he's a really cool guy. Yeah, exactly, Bo. Exactly. Oh, because I've had bikes like that. Back, many of you might not remember. There used to be these bikes that they they gussied up to look like motorcycles, dirt bikes, and some models actually had shocks, in the front and the back, and I had one that had them in the front and the back, and then later on I got one that had this weird spring contraption right in the center. They called it a monoshock, but it was right in the middle of the frame because it's split kind of. So when you landed, it wasn't so bad, but it was still pretty bad. I really love that uh, one of those bikes. Oh man, rode that everywhere, and then as I got older, less dorky. Uh, I know, right? Not really. What do you want? Hello, I fed you already. Go leave me alone. He is surprisingly uh, well adjusted to his BATH the other day. Normally, he won't come near me for like a week. He's all pissed off. But right after, he was like, you know, happy to see me, missing me, and being all lovey dovey. Hello, what do you want? I don't have any snacks up here. Oh, you want to come? Come on, come on, come on. You can't. You got to come over here. Come on. He wants to actually get in my lap for some reason. No, come on, come on, come on, come on. Say hi to everybody. Say hello, hello. Yep. See, he's a cutie pie. Look at that guy. Look at that face. Look at that face. That's my boy. But I mean, he's for being 15 years old. He's pretty spry. He's pretty happy and uh, probably because he's a smarty pants. What are you licking my table for? That's disgusting. You're disgusting. Yeah, but Daddy, I just got through licking my butt. I'm in a good mood. No, go, just go. Just go get Jackie. He's an awesome dog, but lately he's been very clingy towards me, like following me like everywhere. Does he have water? Yes, he always has water. Uh, I feed him twice a day or more, and make sure he always has water. If I go out to take out the trash or anything, just go outside for even like 2 seconds, I can hear him whining. His favorite thing is, as you know, with most dogs, is peeing on the grass or trees or bushes or whatever. And yesterday we had somebody's dog just roaming the neighborhood for like hours. And of course, being a dog. Okay, take care, Bo. I will see you later. Have a happy, safe, and sane 4th of July. A couple of burgers and dogs. Enjoy. Enjoy the weekend, and make sure you have a s'more. Okay, those things are awesome. I don't know what it is with Bo. He's not like a fan of s'mores. Like, how do you not? I mean, come on. That's like one of the greatest inventions of all time. Saying as white people never invented anything. We at least made the s'more, right? Um, but yeah. So I am like embarrassed that kind of I'm actually almost done with the 38 Reaper Dungeon Dwellers that I got at the beginning of the week. And you're like, embarrassed? Why? Well, because they're done, and I've got this other stuff on my table that's been sitting here for like literally years. I've got a couple of things, mind you. Some of them, Jackie said he wanted to paint them. but hasn't gotten around to it. Other things I you know want to paint, want to finish, and I haven't, including those really great giants that Cal sent me. And the only reason I haven't finished those is because they're so big and so awesome that I really want to make sure like their faces and every little detail is just the best of my ability. And every time I look at them, it's like there's something I need to do. And I'm trying to figure out because each one's like a different color scheme and flesh tone, and so I want to make them all just right. This one right here is probably one of my favorites. Just get right here. He's bowling. He's supposed to be a cloud giant, I guess. That's what I'm painting him up as. But look at that face. It's still, I need to do a little work on the eyes, but I think I'm almost done. You made some progress on your water pistol. Awesome, awesome. I have not even touched mine. Sad to say, because I need to find the right gribblies and a particular thing I need to make one last modification. But for the most part, it's slap some glue and gribblies on it, spray paint it black, dry brush it metal where you want it metal, make it look like I'm probably gonna make. Oops, if I can get without knocking shit over. Nope. I'm probably gonna make this handle right here at least look wood, but now that I look at it, probably a waste of time. But I might make it red, as well as the tip red and stuff because it literally had a sticker on it. Not a sticker, but it had a little tag on it that said, "Do not deface this or change this and make it look like a real gun." And I'm like, well, if you do your guns, you might still mistake it for one with the paint job I'm going to give it. But I'm like, there's not too many guns like that are silver. They're usually black. A lot of black polymers and things like that. Plus, it's going to have this freaking neon green shit. You're never going to see that on a real gun unless we get invaded by aliens or some shit, which is highly unlikely. But I'm looking forward to it. There's a couple other people that have joined the challenge, and good luck to you, George. Remember, no voting for yourself. You can vote for other people, but not yourself. I break the ties if there is a tie on votes. And those will be due, I think, Tuesday. So I still have some time. It shouldn't really, you know, if I had the time, probably do it Sunday. Uh, a couple of hours, an hour or two of gluing, and then 2 hours of painting, and call it a day, right? But although Armstrong's going to be hard to beat because he's making his gun from scratch, which is kind of awesome, but kind of also intimidating because if you've seen his work, he. What are you doing? Knock it off! Hey, hey! Don't do that. His glued plastic eggs to mine. Okay, so you're going for maybe like a kind of a biological look to it, like an organic Tyranid kind of weapon, maybe. I don't know. Surprise me. Um, I'm looking forward to it. And then, as you guys know, see the August challenge is the Speed Stick Speeder, which I expect. Uh, the Speed Stick Speeder challenge is where we take a deodorant container and make like some sort of land speeder or hovercraft or rocket vehicle, like the old uh, hover tank, I guess it was, in the old Rogue Trader book back in the day from Games Workshop and Warhammer 40K, where they made a a little vehicle out of a deodorant container. And, since then, 35, 40 years, people have been doing that. And the trick to making those work, if you're going to make like a land speeder or a vehicle, uh, oh, Creature from a Black Lagoon, Julia Adams and the Gill Man, dude, this is like my favorite monster. Speaking of which, it's the Creature from a Black Lagoon glow in the dark statue is the prize for the squirt gun challenge. But the trick to making a speeder out of a deodorant container is having another car, like a sports car or something, to cannibalize the seats and the windscreen for or from, because otherwise, it doesn't work right. And if you have access to a hot knife, or you know how to make one, or you know how to heat up your Exacto knife, or you have a good Dremel, cutting open the cockpit, that's a bit of work. And if you're not good with either of those tools, it will look kind of janky. But once you get that down, everything else is pretty easy. I've got a couple of cheating methods of my own. We made a couple, and I don't know where they are. I wish I did, because I can guarantee you Jackie would be using them for his D&D games. But they're packed away in a box somewhere. Um, we'll find them someday, but there's literally hundreds of boxes they could be in, and for whatever reason, I don't know which one it is. What's up, Bad News Bards? Um, but other than that, just getting a little painting done, and trying to, color choices is always key to making a miniature look really good. I find, and I just used it this morning, having one of these. I got this one from obviously Green Stuff World many, many years ago. It's actually a sticker, but I haven't found just the right thing to stick it to. But if you know how to use this, if you're painting in this blue color, whoop, over here, then you want to go directly across to the opposite side. Oh, geez. So the contrasting color would be this yellow in these different shades. Hey, what's up, Mac? Long time no see. And using contrasting colors to make your minis pop. Once again, I'm using lots of purples and greens for the beholder. And I got this really cool blue for the Underdark stalagmite that's under him, that's actually holding him up. Dude, I glued. Hey, thanks, man. I glued this thing together, and it had the most micro freaking connector in the back here. It was just like this little sort of L thing, it just goes in the back. And I kid you not, it was like it had less connective area than that. Okay, for the whole thing, and it dropped, and it's a 3D print too, which really pisses me off. Um, and it dropped, landed on the carpet, snap. Like, so I had to kind of find the right area, and I may not have gotten the right area. I personally, I think it's kind of a dumb pose with him looking straight up at you. When you put the miniature down, and he's looking like this. But it was the only place I could connect it, and I don't remember exactly where it went. But in a way, it's kind of cool, because that way he's always looking up at the players, not the characters. He's like, "Arr!" you know. But if I would have known, which I don't think that even they knew. No, Mac, but I might revisit that challenge. Um, See, I don't think Reaper intended to go the route of 3D printing these minis, because most of them are available in other stuff, other mediums, metal. Like I'm 100% certain this guy was originally made in metal, and I was okay getting them in Bones Black. But when I open up the box and I see all these 3D supports, I'm like, Wait a minute. That's not right. And one of the minis was clearly, if you've ever seen their Kickstarters, they have this way of drawing anything that's going to be in clear plastic. And this little lady here, this banshee, was clearly shown in that art style, letting you know that hey, this one's going to be clear plastic. It wasn't. Not only was it a 3D print, but part of her dress snapped off as I'm trying to break off the supports, and we didn't pay for that, and that's like the price difference between a 3D print and a Bones Black, from the manufacturer. The price difference is pennies on the dollar, literally. What it costs to for the resin and maybe the electricity, etc. So I feel we kind of got ripped off in a way, but I guess they were just like feeling pressured after 2 years of not providing the Kickstarter, or maybe they just figured, hey, the books are done. Let's just get this out and done with. But I'm kind of a little disappointed, even though there were some that weren't 3D printed. I guess they had plenty, and others that were, and I still managed to put them all together and paint all but this dragon, which I don't think is a 3D print because I can actually see the mold lines. Um, and it's the Bones Black. It's not a bad dragon, but I don't know what color I'm going to paint it yet. And then the four player characters that are really, really chunky. That's like the female fighter. Um, and then there's the female halfling, which I also find kind of um, not to my liking. The magic user is male, the human male magic user, or maybe he's elf. Yeah, he's elf. Yeah. And then the male dwarf. I think they kind of overly feminized the choices there. It should have been a human male fighter, male dwarf, female magic user, and male hobbit adventurer. You're not going to get female hobbit adventurers. I'm sorry, uh, and not on. You know, obviously you'll get them every once in a while, but the majority are going to be in the ratios I said, and they're just trying to appease the girls that aren't playing this particular game. Yeah, those are definitely handy. I've one of those that is a spinner type of thingy. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Squirrel. I'm kind of lost. Um, and what I was talking about is Wylock's Armory did this. Um, those of you who watch Wylock's Armory, which is one of the big channels we got started with, made a really great beholder out of a couple of ping pong balls, some beads, some toothpicks, and a hot glue gun. And most of his and some of the one of the beads he uses is these really cool, which we got glass half round flat beads that have an eye in it, so that it looks like a real eye. It's round, and it's got some sort of like either a photograph or really well done. The color wheel, right? Okay, scroll. And it's got this like sticker thing on the back of the bead. So when you look at the eye from different angles, it doesn't move like a lenticular thing, but it does have the better illusion of a real eye. And you center that. You cut the ping pong ball a certain way and make the mouth open. Glue in some teeth. Glue some hot glue texture about it, and then take some wire and some other beads, and you make the eye stalks. And for like an hour's time and 30 cents worth of materials. Yeah, it's just the certain folks are trying to overly feminize the hobby. It wasn't, and it wouldn't be even to this freaking day. If there were dungeons to explore on Earth like that, you wouldn't get a lot of Laura Croft Tomb Raiders. Just saying, the survivable uh, likelihood is just ridiculously low with just you know going out into the wild and things like that. You just wouldn't find it, and most of the female characters are played by dudes. Hell, uh, even when I know female players, a lot of times they're playing dudes as well because they know it just makes more sense. You're not going to have a female elven magic user out, camping all her life. Just no, she's not going to want to do that. She's going to want to be in a nice, cozy tower somewhere, studying her books and catching up on her stories. Um, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Maybe things are changing with younger generations, but I'm not seeing it. I watch a lot of archaeology and videos like that, and I the field has generally been dominated by men, willing to put up with you know uncomfortable conditions to say the least. But other than those little things, you know, so far I'm happy with my progress. I've got this ogre that's just about done. He's kind of generic, a little shiny because I used a soft tone wash on him. I wish they would get rid of that. I might have to hit him with a dull coat because I don't really want him to look all shiny and sweaty. The same with this Minotaur. Almost done with this one. This one turned out, I think, pretty pretty much what you expect from a Minotaur. But the ones I'm probably the most proud of are these two Blue Oyster Cultists. They're done in the bag. If you've got the Fire of Unknown Origin album cover anywhere handy, you will recognize these guys are as close to perfect as you can get. And the only thing that's wrong with them is the exact nature of the robes, the way they're sculpted. And then these two that I did with all neon colors, the aforementioned Banshee really has that sort of Disney haunted house look to it, I think. No, leave the shiny, really? And then this wraith or specter. Um, I want to do something different with the face. I was thinking that, but Mac, maybe I'll do that. The same with this troll. The troll, I always think um, should be the exact opposite, kind of dusty. Like a reptile that you never. And ogres are nasty, filthy things. Yes, they are. They are. Um, Speaking of filthy nasty, though, this this freaking this harpy. Let's see if I can get that face. She is just, the shaved side of the head, but not on the other side, and some other aspects just make her like the grossest, nastiest thing I've ever painted. She's just like, oh, really, really nasty. And I've got a couple other harpies over there that don't have any of the. You think you have the same ogre miniature? Yeah, I don't know if this was a 3D print or not. I think it was. It doesn't have any bendability. Oh, a little. Um, but the carrion worm thing is kind of okay. The basilisk is absolutely nothing to write home about. They always do that with basilisks. They make them just like, it's a lizard with 8 legs. Whoop de doo. No, these things should be scary. Um, but they never do that. And this guy is coming out okay. He's kind of like the signature, like their trademark kind of mascot for the old heritage dungeon dwellers. It was a skeleton, and he's turning out pretty spiffy. I'm gonna do something with his blade to make it look glowy, and then everything else is just run of the mill goblins and giant ticks. The fire beetles are shaping up with the clear plastic. I just undercoated just underneath the belly with this old neon craft paint, uh, and that's just about all I did. I did the legs black. The antennae are a blood red. That's about it. But it's got this nice sort of glowy look to it, like it's how fire beetles are. The harpies from Reaper Dungeon Dwellers Kickstarter, but I'm sure it's available elsewhere. She is nasty. I mean, I can't even describe certain parts of her anatomy that are plainly visible and also nasty, part of the whole overall effect. But she's going to be the queen of the harpies. Not sure who I'm going to name her after, but I'm definitely going to give her a name on the bottom. The base is big enough to where I can literally write somebody's name on it. Just in case you're not tired of seeing it, that's my Blue Oyster Cultist leader from Reaper. It's an actual metal mini. I'll show you real quick if I can find them. I love these guys. Oh, here we go. So you can see how the Ankh in the box is an Ankh, but the Blue Oyster Cult symbol, the Kronos symbol, is that upside down. So I just did the work, little metal saw, pin vise. I actually had to pin vise right through his hand and here because I did not want this to just snap off from gluing. And I have two more of these so that I'll have like three standard bearers, if you will, and then the two other cultists. And I might get a couple more because I want to do the full. If you've seen the album cover, there's like 8 or 10 people in the background, all wearing the. Weird too because like this it's actually wood sand golem, the brownish color is like perfect right off the album cover, and this blue is it Spectral Glow? No, no, it's I think it's like Caribbean blue or something, or Phantasmal blue maybe from the Speed Paint set. And it was funny. I was actually wearing my Blue Oyster Cult T-shirt, the Fire of Unknown Origin album cover, so I could like literally match the paint bottles to my shirt when I was painting it. It was kind of funny. And I've actually had my player, as Cal can tell you, the players actually ran into the Blue Oyster Cult in one of my games. Not the actual band members. I'm working up to that, but they ran into this fishy cult on an island out in the middle of nowhere, Cragsport, and the island was about to be invaded by hobgoblins, not hobgoblins, giants and trolls and lowcath, and they had to evacuate the island, and that was a God, that was like almost 2 years ago now. Hard to believe that that campaign is going to be 3 years come like January, going into our fourth year. I don't know about you guys, but that's what I always want out of a game. Is not just like a 6 8 session and we're done, or 6 month session and we're done. I want those like couple of years. Like 1 year in is like for me is usually like the sweet spot where things start getting really good. The players are invested. They're gonna show up on time and be there and like I said, be invested with what's happening, what they've you know gotten themselves into, of all the things that they can get themselves into. They've like picked a side, if you will, in the great cosmic scheme of things, or not, and they're starting to you know call it home. They've got some place or something that they care about, that they're willing to show up and fight and possibly die for. You just don't get that in these 6 month, 8 month, half a year, or a couple of month sessions. It's just like everybody plays completely different. Uh, they're still at that point where uh, okay, cold iron. I don't know what that is. It sounds like a video game, but I could be wrong. But like in the early stages, before you get to a certain point, I find that players play kind of crazy, and they know they may and most likely have to roll up a new character because of losing a character because in the early stages you're very vulnerable. You have a lot of ways you can lose a character. What's up, Dean? And so they play differently than after they've gotten past that like seventh level point. They're feeling their strengths a little more and feel like they're a little more capable and not afraid of every little bump in the night. On eBay, you might it might not be under the Dungeon Dwellers line. I would what I would do is I would go into. Are you on eBay or are you on Reaper's site? If you're on the Reaper's site in the figure finder, I would write race any female or harpy. Um, Later on, if you remind me, I saved all the blister pack packaging and stuff, so I can find out exactly what she was called. Uh, but she's the nastiest, uh, haggiest harpy you could ever want. It's really something. Okay, Reaper under the figure finder. Uh, when I end the show, I can't go down there now. If there was somebody here to hold down the fort for me, I would. The mega dungeon of all mega dungeons, but but it's so vast and spread out. Can't really call it a dungeon, actually. Yeah, like I said, I've got the blister pack, and I can tell you exactly what it's called. Um, let's see, is it a? Oh yeah, it's definitely a 3D print. You can see the print lines. Uh, 2025 Reaper. Jason something is the sculptor, but yeah. So it's a newer mini. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll do that, Mac. And I'm actually gonna try and find all these minis in metal if I can, except for these um, fire beetles because they're in the clear plastic like they should be. But everything else, I'm going to see if I can find in metal because here, I'll show you. This was the Kickstarter miniature box that all the blister packs came in, and um, I glued in some foam to hold the miniatures individually, and then I've got some more foam over here because it's actually going to be two layers. But I've got stuff like this. I wish I had like more of these. I don't know where I got these, but I have like three or four of them over the years, and I could almost fit two in there. No, not really. And then I've got um, this. I'm going to have to cut down to be able to store all the minis for posterity, along with the box for the rule books, so that I can put them next to my Heritage Dungeon Dwellers. And like these 3D prints, I don't know how long they will last. Um, in the way of generations, but my Heritage Dungeon Dweller play sets I've had since 79 or 80. Okay. The cardboard's weak and flimsy. The paper inside is, questionable. I could have it laminated or something like that. I probably should. The little cardboard play mats, they're not bad. The miniatures, though, are still shiny silver. Even though they're lead, they're still shiny. Every one of them I've gone over the years and scoured the internet to make sure that all the pieces that go to those sets are in the best possible condition, unpainted. And since I know a guy who can hook me up with the originals, but in tin, eventually I'll even replace the lead with tin so that those box sets will be around for another, 50, 100 years, whatever. And I want to do the same with the Reaper set so that, someone can, open up a box and go, oh, hey, Dungeon Dweller miniatures, Dungeon Dweller books. I can play this Dungeon Dweller game with whoever's, still alive. Maybe it's a bunch of cockroach man. I don't know, rat people in the future, but they'll be able to play this game. It's got a map or two in it, and everything you need. And why the hell not, right? A lot of the games I see, especially lately, I've become a bit of a snob when it comes to role playing game books that are not hardcover. I guess it started with the Palladium books. If Do any of you guys have any Palladium books? Speaking of Kickstarters, I received a PDF for Avail, the Elven Kingdom. The physical should ship this August. I'm guessing that's for Harn. Um, of course. Uh, but the old Palladium covers, most of them, like 99% of them, were soft cover, and they had this clear plastic coating that on the covers that would slowly peel off. And other companies stopped using that. But they still print their soft cover books very shabbily, Um, and so I'm just trying. I'm trying to find everything I can in hardcover where possible, so that they will last. Kind of why I started getting into the omnibus thing. Everything, it should be made, you know, to last. I mean, once upon a time, all books were hardcover, right? Or they were scrolls, yeah. But you guys won't remember that. Um, and it's just when I look at a lot of my collections, like those things aren't going to last. 20 years they'll be falling apart or worse. The original Traveler Black books. I have all the Palladium Fantasy physical books so far. I think I have all but a couple of the world type source books, not world books because that's from that came later, but all the original old stuff, even the original old ones book, like book number two. I did get the reprint or the second edition on the high seas or whatever that was because it actually had better versions of the OCCs with SDC and all the correct terminology for the current version of the game and better. Just all the OCCs were better. I enjoyed the hell out of that game, but the 60 plus books I have down here, uh, if it wasn't for the fact that I stopped using Palladium books, they'd be trashed. My Ninjas and Super Spies book, that plastic cover thing is like peeled about halfway across the book, and you can't reattach it. And if you cut it off, it's just going to keep peeling, maybe even easier. I don't know. So I just leave it on and you know try not to think about it. It'd probably not be hard to get a new copy of Ninjas and Super Spies because that was a fun book. That was a really really fun book to play in back in the day. Might even be one of my favorite. I know a lot of people hate that book, but the for the time and the memories and the people that I played with, uh, maybe it's just a nostalgia thing. But yeah. So what do you guys got going on? Any games this weekend? I've got only the one game on Sunday, which is good because Saturday is going to be a house full of family. Hence, there won't be a Saturday paint and chill because, as you guys know, 4th of July is my my second favorite holiday, and I'm going to be out with the family, lighting off fireworks, cooking burgers and dogs, and trying to keep the dog from freaking out. He hates that holiday. I mean, most dogs do. It's just uh, it's a nightmare for their ears. But over the years, he's gotten better about it because, like, I set up one of the barbecue grills out in the front yard and a couple of tables and cook up some hot dogs and like after we actually eat dinner, I'll go and make hot dogs for the neighborhood and uh, kick back, wait for the the local fireworks show to go away. Mac, I just put 15 new minis in my Reaper basket. I need help. Before you hit the buy now, dude, I'm gonna teach you a little trick that might, I don't know if if you're okay with eBay. I would one at a time. I know this sounds like a pain in the ass versus just like buy it now. Um, I'll go on eBay and I will look for every miniature that is in your Reaper basket and watch how you can find them. Got to make sure they're metal, if unless you don't mind that they're bones black. Don't get the bones white. Don't need to say that. I'm sure everybody knows that by now. Um, and look not only for the cheapest place to buy those, but you'll notice that they're all cheaper than buying them from Reaper. Just about everybody on eBay is doing that because they've had them forever. But um, check the stores that you're buying them from. What's up, Squirrel? Welcome to the show. Um, Look for the stores that give you free shipping on purchase orders over X. Like a lot of times they're like between $35 and $55. You get free shipping, and if you go and you start picking those items, then what you do is you take those same items that you find the cheapest price, right, on eBay. You put them in your cart, and eBay will organize them by the same company. So, like, say three or four of them happen to be from the same company, um, and they're in your cart there. It'll also tell you how much more you need to spend to get the free shipping, and then you can maybe go through that store instead of Reaper. Sorry, Reaper, but your prices are too high. And go down the line and see if you can't find some of the other things that you're looking for. Maybe they mislabeled them, or they're some items are uh, repurposed for different lines of minis, and it'll save you a buck. I mean, in this economy, we shouldn't be paying full price for anything if we don't have to. If we can find a way to mitigate our expenses, then we absolutely have to.
Yeah, that does not hurt.
Um, they're between $4.99 and $6.99 with free shipping. Okay, that's not bad. They okay. That's actually pretty good prices. Last time I was on Reaper actually looking to buy stuff, they were like $8.99, and I'm like, whoa, 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 slow your roll, guys. I can go to all kinds of different miniature companies on eBay, or not even eBay, like Splintered Light and stuff like that. Not Splintered Light because they're 10 or 15 mil, and it's not the same.
Yeah, but
But
whatever. You can go. You can go to
there are
other.
companies out there, Bronze Age, not Bronze Age, Hydra Miniatures, and a few others that I go to. Their minis are often like $5, and $5 for a metal mini. Same thing with Star Schlock, which I really love. Their sci-fi minis. They're like $5 a piece, but they're usually in packs of three or four. But three metal minis, three for $15. I mean,
Yeah,
you
three
can't you
three
can't.
28 mils for $5. You can't beat that.
Well, 15, it would be 15 for the three, but yeah.
No, no, three.
Oh,
28 millimeter for $5. You can't beat that at all.
yeah, yeah, I don't even think you can
15,
find
15 millimeter, 5 for 3. That's not bad. I use um, Curacao
it.
miniatures. They're over in, I think, New Jersey or New York or something, or they're close. They're in the States. And the
Okay.
15 mils, they have sci-fi, they have World War One, Two, Civil War.
I don't know if I've ever heard of them or seen them, but send me a link later.
Yeah,
Because James Hill and I
they
are
have
looking for.
your fantasy, they have your historicals, they have all kinds. Like I was saying the other day, I get a pack of like 12 for like $8.
Hmm. And for me and for James Hill, we've decided that uh, when it comes to war games, even some skirmish games, smaller scale, 15, 10, whatever. It's got to be the way.
Yeah,
Trying to get armies of 28 millimeter where you need 100 minis, fuck no. That even at $5 a piece, that's a $500 army that um, if something bad happens to it, that's a big chunk of change that most people, that could be enough to where like if someone you went somewhere and you got into a car accident or you had someone break into your car and steal your carrying case of your army, right? You'd be done. You'd be out. You'd be out of the game. Maybe for life. For a lot of people, it takes them a while to build up to that. And with Games Workshop minis where it's like depending on the army, it could be $25 to $50 a miniature. For things like that, it could be devastating. You could have spent decades building this army, for non-tournament use with your buddies, and someone steals it, or you get in a car accident, or it breaks, or you have an earthquake, or a fire, or anything like that. You're just out. You're just done. I've been buying my Reaper minis off eBay as of late. The larger ones are close to half price or less. Yeah, because here's what it is. I was telling somebody the other day on eBay, anybody who's selling miniatures, for the most part, except one company who I think is actually Reaper under a different name, because when I get them, I get like Reaper advertisements in them, and discount cards and stuff. Everybody on eBay has had their Reaper miniatures in their store for like a year to God knows how long, like a long time. And to them, they're just trying to move that product back out of the store,
yeah,
off their site. Willing to like. Here's the thing: a lot of times, like if I find a mini on eBay and I hit the watch item, within 24 hours, that seller will be notified, "Hey, someone's watching your item," and they will then send me a discount, like 5, 10,
yep,
rarely over 15% discount on said mini if I buy it in the next 3 days. And I'm like, well, sometimes I'll just like, yeah, sure, that makes the difference overall, because it just so happens I've got other minis in my cart from them. Total it all up, free shipping, bada boom, bada bing. Next thing you know, I'm paying like $3.50 a mini instead of $5.99. And uh, I highly recommend though that you stay away from the box sets unless the company has free shipping. Those big plastic hard cases Reaper makes. They're like
yeah,
like little gun cases. They're
yeah,
great cases for whatever you want to put in them, but because of the size, more than the weight, it bumps it into the next second or third tier category of shipping prices, to
yep,
where you could literally be paying more for the shipping than the actual case. Because I've seen some of those case sets of like townsfolk and stuff like that,
yep,
for $23 for like 8 metal minis. That's freaking a steal. Plus, you get the metal box. I mean, the plastic box and free shipping. It's like, yeah. Unfortunately, the one I was looking at is the townsfolk, and I have like half of them, and I don't really care about the other half. Don't really even want any of them. But if you needed like, 8 townsfolk miniatures and you had $25, you could get them and the box. And the cool thing about those boxes is they usually will hold more minis than actually come in it.
oh
So
yeah,
it's
dude. Well, I'm sure you've seen. I use one of those cases for I put all my travel paints in
Mhm.
and I close it.
One of them we have here is actually that we got was actually a travel paint case. It came with like 12 paints, and it had this little cubby in the middle with foam that you could put about a half a dozen miniatures in and travel with that, and a paintbrush, and it's nice. They even have like the holes where you could put padlocks. You
Yeah,
notice that? I'm like, that's freaking, not that anybody ever needed that or would, I mean, unless you're, smuggling guns or drugs, why would you padlock your Reaper miniature case,
it's
right?
a plastic case, anyways. You can smash it with a hammer.
Right. But it's that those little tiny, hey, for a nickel's worth of effort and time, we could do this other thing, and it's like this right here. I was showing this off, right?
Yeah, the little grab lip, the little.
You have no idea how much this means to the long term effect and survivability of this box. It's nice that like just doing this, letting gravity take the lid off, it just slides because of the uh, the
Weight of
frame
the contents.
and the smoothness of the box itself. But if it was on the table, you can just lightly pick it up through that grab. All my TSR boxes are trash. I mean, to an extent. I
Yeah.
usually, but you know what I mean. Compared to this, those boxes on this shelf right here, they're going to disintegrate. This thing right here, though, not so much. But that little detail makes so much difference. Come on, buddy. When it comes to being able to pull it apart, and get into it and not have to, worry like with my Ravenloft boxes. I have to like, get the freaking special white gloves and everything to pull them out and use them. I mean, in my Gamma World box, the same thing. It's pretty freaking old. And they weren't made. I mean, if you go back and look at like your Holmes box or your Gamma World box or any of those boxes of the day, the paper, because it's literally more paper than cardboard. For those box sets of like basic, expert, all those boxes were flimsy. Star Frontiers, whatever, they're all super super thin, flimsy materials that just not going to be around forever. So the fact
No,
that
but then again, you think about back in the day when those were getting put out. Hindsight is 2020. So they were doing what they were doing. Can't blame them. They weren't thinking like, oh, this is gonna be something that's gonna be around for 50 years. They were just thinking, all right, it's a cool game. We're gonna put out more. Here we go.
Actually, Mac, that's a good question. When you buy the pluck and pull foam, whether it's from firearms or miniature cases, I absolutely save that foam, and I use it for a variety of things. One, I'll take a regular cardboard box and turn it into a miniature case by laying down the cubes. First, making a soft layer or getting a just a small, a soft, thinner layer of foam. Cut it out, put it in the box, and then measure out the cubes so that I can make like the old chess X boxes. I can make something that will hold, like, especially the bigger miniatures like dragons and things like that. They need their own custom box. I mean, literally, your best bet if you have a really like really cool dragon mini or something like that that you want to put somewhere and not on a shelf to collect dust, you will find a box that's bigger than the miniature, and literally glue with white glue the foam in the exact place that it will protect and cushion that mini.
I get these. Now these are all unpainted, so I don't really care if they rattle around.
Right.
But it's a plastic. You can get them off of, a Bald Buddy Bezos or Dollar General or Dollar Tree or whatever. They have their own little section. but I bought a bunch of half-inch foam. So the ones that are painted and done, I
I can
put the
imagine.
foam down, put the miniature in, put a piece of foam on top. They're sealed,
Even
they're
even
done,
really,
and
especially like the thin,
you
the
label them. Get a
mhm.
label sticker, you label what's in there, and you're good to go. And they're fairly cheap.
Especially the thin foam that you get like in a blister pack. You know, like you get a miniature, and underneath the miniature is that little thin
Yeah.
foam. Save that in a separate box. Save the thicker foam in the other. Glue it down to make your thin layer. You know,
Hell, even the little thin bubble wrap.
yeah, I've done that as well because I couldn't find the thin foam, and then glue the foam, but glue the foam to the bubble wrap so that that miniature has got its own special box, uh, and label it or something. Maybe even glue the blister pack packing label whatever on it, so you know what's in it, and that you know when you move boxes around and stuff, it's not just rattling around. The other thing we use those that foam for is making sponges to dab on paint, or if you take that sponge and you take some tweezers and pull little pieces of it out, you can make like that natural looking foam for texture painting. If you don't want to go and buy the natural sponge, which I have. Jesus Christ. Get old. Ugh, that's my father's noise. Like this. Well, it looks like it's natural foam, like from the sea, the ocean. I know it's not. They just got some Chinese kids picking at it, you know. Um, because when you dab the paint and sponge it, it's random places that will applicate and not applicate the paint or apply the paint. But I got these at the dollar store. Um, I haven't used them yet, but I will find a larger project to do that with. But yeah, you know, uh, everything that we get these days can be repurposed. Literally everything. It was weird. I was watching um, a lot of videos on the Depression era, and ways that they did things to survive, and like saving aluminum foil and washing it and reusing it. Right? I'm like, you freaking kidding me, right? They used to do that back in the day. And mind you, it was like like 3 cents for a roll of aluminum foil or whatever it was, right, back in the day. And they were talking about washing and reusing, not Ziploc bags, but bags. And the other day, like shortly after watching that video, I noticed that Grandma does that. I'm like, okay, mind you, I get it. She's from Mexico, and their things are whatever, harder, rougher, tougher to survive. But she had washed a Ziploc bag and was hanging it to dry. And I'm like, maybe we have gotten, a little too complacent and too ready to just, fill that our local landfill and turn it into a Bandini mountain.
Yeah, I mean, if it can be reusable, why not?
Well, we can get the thicker foil. It's just most people don't. If you look in the foil aisle, there is the thicker stuff, and I get that for some things, and the cheap foil for other things. Because if it's
Yeah.
if it's gonna be barbecue sauce,
Well,
forget about it.
even the Ziplocs, if it can be reused, why not? It's
Hmm.
like it's almost some of it is almost like I'm going to drink out of this cup and then throw it away.
Hmm.
Why not wash it? Make sure it's clean, sterile as much, and
You just
back in the
reminded me of
cupboard.
that
Put
story.
it back in the cupboard. Put it back in the drawer. Put it back in
You,
the, and then use it again.
you just reminded me of that story of those people who died next to a river of dehydration because they didn't have a cup. True freaking story. Like a woman, I think it was. They found her dead or dehydrated because she didn't have a cup, so she didn't know how to drink the water.
Oy, 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 oy.
I'm not. Maybe it's just a made up story, but I would not be even a bit surprised that we have raised people to be that dumb. You know. But my point
Well,
is
you know what, and all due, I don't know what to say. Some
fairness.
people are just dumb. You can't fix stupid, and you can't fix lazy.
Well, you can, but it takes a surgeon and a medical court order. But you can fix them and make sure they don't breed. But it's
You
pretty.
can't. Just can't. There's going to be those types of people, unfortunately. But we can go back to the Darwinism. Darwinism. I mean, maybe she or he, whoever. Hey, dummy. That's the course of nature, and
See that's exactly uh, the way we should do things, but we don't. We do the same thing with our 16-ounce water bottles. Uh, After they're empty, we fill them with water from the dispenser where we get the clean water, and then freeze them. And we never leave the house without at least a couple of frozen bottles of water, just in case. Off grid, what's happening, man? We were just talking about you the other day. Hope you're doing well. Uh, Screws, all that stuff. But the point I was trying to get is, like with this hobby, like why we do the craft challenges and things like that is to, like, okay, here's a perfect example. This is my spaceship that I made. I'm not done with it, but it's going to be my submission to the shampoo bottle spaceship. Okay, as you can see, it's made out of a couple of Toblerone boxes because they've got that great triangular shape.
yep,
A couple of super glue lids here, a couple of super glue lids here, a washer. I don't even know what this thing is from. And once I add a few more things to it, spray paint it black, dry brush it white or gray or whatever, it'll look great on the table
yeah,
as a, and as Armstrong would say, it is whooshable. Uh,
yeah,
and it looks like something out of a cheesy sci-fi movie, you
yeah.
know.
Well,
Um,
I told you that before when you showed that off. That reminds me of the episode of Cowboy Bebop, Space Truckers. I don't know if that's the
that's
name of it, but the ships
that's
were
the idea I'm going for.
almost identical.
Each of these little, they're just I bought some wooden pieces. They're all this shape, and that's the idea is that each one of these is a cargo container. They could just jettison, or someone could pick it up. Right? Yeah, that is true. James L, welcome to the show. Uh,
Hi, James.
Modern plastic isn't, a lot of it isn't safe to recycle, but if you're recycling it for non-food purposes, you're taking a food container and turning it into a spaceship, like a shampoo bottle. You definitely wouldn't want to use that for food. There's no way you can clean that enough, which is funny because you're cleaning the soap out of it with more soap that makes it never use safe for food. But you can turn a shampoo bottle into a spaceship or a tower or whatever on your battlefield,
Yeah,
instead of just tossing it or trying to go out and buy a big expensive $100 box set of one terrain building like this thing right here. This building, well, it's gorgeous and just amazing detail, etc. It's like between 50 and 75 bucks now. Okay, from the factory. Um, but the right guy could have made something comparable to this with junk and garbage. It
yeah,
probably was originally the original uh, build was probably made out of household junk, not completely sculpted and carved out of, you
yeah.
know,
Don't get me
big.
wrong. I really enjoy detail on sculpts and miniatures and models and etc. And I do like getting into putting in detail when I'm painting or whatnot. At the end of the day, though, if you're really just putting them on the table, not for competition, does it look good from 3 foot away? Does it look damn good from 3 foot away? Then you did a damn good job.
hmm Okay, you guys are being funny. Yes, I always think of Red Dwarf. It's in my opinion one of the top three best sci-fi things ever made of all time, because it incorporates all the big ideas into a comedy. without it being too um, Hitchhiker's Guide kind of funny. That's like a little bit too um, silly for me, if you will. And if I ever need help with Toblerone, I will let you know, James. The wife got me one of those 6 packs. Because she didn't know. She knew. She's like, we were shopping and like looking for gifts. And I'm like, hey, this would be good to give to, to be able to take to Mexico and hand out to your family, because you could, like here, have some good chocolate, to the kids and stuff like that. Um, and she ended up just giving it to me instead. I'm like, I knew what it was when I saw it wrapped. I'm like, oh, cool, I got one of those. And I'm like, I saved each and every one.
Toblerones are good. They are good.
It had like 6 or 8 of those in it, and I not only did I save each one, but it also came in like a hexagon shaped box, and I'm like, okay, I put them
Ooh,
back in
nice.
so that I could make more of those ships, and I could make a hexagonal shaped tower, because sometimes some folks like me and a straight edge and a ruler and a blade, it's not gonna end well. But if I take a prefab thing and like this, and I just glue it up and line it up, you know, it may not be perfect, uh, like 100% down to the freaking micrometer or whatever, but it's a good enough for government work, And when it's finished, painted up, uh, it'll be just fine for the tabletop. Frostgrave is a great entry point into mini gaming skirmishes. Minis are mostly generic and inexpensive. Terrain encourages the do-it-yourself scratch building process, and the rules are inexpensive. That's what we need to return to off grid. That idea that
Yeah.
everything does need to be from the factory, from the company. You know,
Nope.
I kid you not,
Even
GW, if you go into their stores and you sit down and you're like painting and you pull out non GW products, they will tell you to put it back in your box. You can't use it here.
yeah.
I saw them
No,
getting freaking
even
torn.
like the Barons War and other games, even though they're historical, the rules are so generic. You could do anything with it pretty much.
Yeah. They literally got mad at someone because he brought out some nail polish remover to do something, with crafting or whatever he was doing. I forget. I think it was nail polish remover. And the guy who was running the store said, "You can't have that out here. You got to put it away."
Oh,
And
that's dumb.
not only do they do that, but this was, I thought, was even more egregious. One guy there was a table full of people, and there was a guy there who, while me and Jack were walking around in the store, that he wanted to just start talking about Magic the Gathering, and he said, "We're not allowed to talk about that here." Excuse me? Come
That's
again?
dumb.
Like, did you just tell me what we can and can't talk about that isn't politics, religion, sex, or one of the known social norms that you're not supposed to talk about in polite company? But you're telling me we can't talk about another game product here? Really? I would. If it was me, I would have been. I am completely done with GW. I'll never buy
Yeah,
anything.
that's dumb. To put
You're
it
just like, not
politely,
only
that's
did you
dumb.
lose a customer, I am going to now go on the internet and tell every motherfucker I know. Just like, what kind of mind control, freaking voodoo witchcrafty shit, MK Ultra nonsense are you trying to pull here in the United States of America? But we're Americans. What is 40C in American? Is probably pretty warm. Thanks for taking the Aussie weather off my hands, Northern Hemisphere types. No problem. I know it's
Uh,
rather chilly over there for you,
40,
James.
40 Celsius. Let me look it up real quick.
Here it's actually been similar, Mac. Very nice, like 70, 80, but today's going to be like 90. So not
40,
looking forward to that, but it could be worse.
just so you know, 40 Celsius is 104 Fahrenheit.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that was always a joke about Celsius and Fahrenheit is the reason behind 0 Celsius is where water freezes, and 100 Celsius is where water boils. But rarely, if ever, does any country that uses Celsius goes above 41, 42 tops. So the other 60, 58 points of Celsius, they're useless.
Hmm. Well, off grid says it was 44 the other day. I
44
like
Celsius,
to try heat as well. The first time I
probably
ever
116.
the first time I ever encountered heat above 110 was Vegas. I was there for the first time in my life. I was like 210. I was really overweight for me, and I got out and I'm like, "This is pretty hot," But I was walking around doing stuff, and I'm like, would have never guessed that it was 114 that day until I got back to the hotel and the news said it was 114 downtown Vegas. I'm like, well, it wasn't that bad. But 114 in other places is just like unbearable. GW is the Scientology of war games companies. Yes, absolutely. Oop, sorry, you guys are speeding up on me here. Yeah, I just, and it's not their fault, because they never know when there's actually a spy walking into their store. Literally, one of the guys told me, we got to be careful. We never know when a customer is actually, a corpo narc. And I'm like, you fucking kidding me, right? This is ostensibly a toy company. Okay, we're playing with toys, and you now have got the toy police making sure you play right. Get out of town.
Losers.
No, well, yeah, they are losing. Uh,
Even that mentality with a toy, a game company, you're losers.
right, right. Well, the thing is they're 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 cowards. They live in fear of losing what they've put together. I'm not going to say built, but what they've got, and that any other Tom, Dick, and Harry toy company can come along and take it all away by being
And
by,
cowards,
by
from what I understand, cowards pretty much always lose. They're losers.
for I mean, all you got to do is create a toy company with a really cool product, miniature company with good old fashioned do it yourself. DM James was talking about the other day. Using your freaking cereal boxes for the card to make a building. Instead of paying 49.99 for a freaking little freaking piece of terrain from GW. Stuff them in a dumpster behind a Susie joint.
Well, and the other thing is, like I said earlier, I enjoy
Take care,
the,
off
the
grid.
minute details, of certain, terrains and miniatures or whatever. But again, this game, this hobby, it was on imagination, was it not?
Yeah,
So can't we like at least attempt to get in the wheelhouse of what we're looking at if we're going to put it on the table and represent it, and let the imagination kind of fill in the gaps?
yeah. I mean, I started with a heritage game, Galacta 25, and it literally said, stack some books over here for a building, get a couple of styrofoam cups, turn them upside down for the forest, stuff like that. And I'm just like, if you think about it, upside down green like plastic cups, right, would be great for a forest because you could turn them upside down and hide your minis in the forest for those kind of rules. Like if you weren't paying attention, hey, some dudes just went under those cups.
Yeah,
You know,
ambush.
right? It's like if you're because I've seen like people camouflage paint minis so that it actually blends in with the terrain because they're using the same paint for the terrain as the minis. And if you're not paying attention, those Hobbit snipers over there in the bush, you know, oh, it's my turn. I activate myself. What? Oh shit! I forgot about them. Yeah, because you weren't paying attention. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're
And
right, Matt.
as I commented earlier, yeah, that static grass applicator, you can. I don't have the piece of the envelope. I thought I did. That's why I got up a few moments ago. Yeah, as long as there's glue, PVA, super glue, crazy glue, wood glue, anything that's kind of liquid, you know, you you can use it on anything: paper, plastic, foam,
I would think
metal.
though that you would want to make sure that it's a very thin coat of glue.
Yes, you
Otherwise,
want a thin.
otherwise,
Yeah, if you do PVA, you want to mix it like a 1 to 1, 2 to 1 ratio of glue to water, being water the most. Thin it out, um,
and then
brush
thin
it
it.
on the base, and then start shaking like I did because I just used a quick on the video I posted earlier. I used super glue, liquid super glue. Loctite
Yeah,
was
yeah,
the
yeah,
brand name, but it don't have to be a brand name. I just
yeah.
use that because I'm doing bases the size of a penny. Couple you saw a couple dabs. It goes a long way.
Hmm.
Uh, and you saw it, whammo, it works.
And it does. I would honestly, I would maybe even find a way to cut the grass down even a little shorter, because in some cases I could see it looking too shaggy. You know what I mean?
There's different
Oh,
millimeter lengths of grass you can
okay.
buy.
Because like
Different.
what would,
The grass I was using was the grass that came with the applicator, and I'm not sure what size it is. I can't remember. But yeah, you can get like 6 mil, 8 mil, 3 mil, 2 mil, one, you can, and if you want it thicker, what you can do is once you put on that first layer, let it dry a little bit. And you can even put on a spray adhesive or a spray sealer on top of that grass and then redo it and it'll make it thicker and bushier and more rich.
okay. You could almost even like use it to make your own tufts.
Yes, yes, absolutely you could. Absolutely. It's like I said in the
Speaking of
video,
which,
it's worth it. For the 30, 40 bucks on the cheap end, just
uh,
for the learning curve to see, it is worth
great
it.
mind, dude. Look at James' comment under the one I highlighted. I work for Big Tough TM, and I say that applicator is hokum, snake oil, poppycock.
Ah, whatever, dude.
I say it looks like black magic, but I want me some of that. And James, I mentioned yesterday was Jackie's birthday party, and it was fun, and a good time was had by all. Lots of ordered way too much pizza again. We literally have like half the pizza left because a bunch of kids couldn't make it. But a good time was had by all, and I passed out early on the couch because I
But
ate too much pizza.
okay, you're living life. Okay,
Hmm.
take a snooze. I missed this.
Okay,
The blackgrass paste. What kind of glue? Mac, you could use UVA, which is Elmer's glue or white
but
modeling glue, whatever.
what he
You
really
mix it with a little water, paint it on, brush it on, or you can use super glue, crazy glue, wood glue, any thicker of the glues like the wood glue or the PVA or whatever. You want to water it down. You get a little more bang for your buck because that glue it's thick, so it'll be like on the base. But
the
and
thing
yeah,
is,
go to
uh,
town. I mean, Mac Thompson. It's on my channel. I just posted it early this morning. Look at it. It's
yeah,
not
it's
much.
It's the static grass applicator that's key. It's a device that when you use it and the grass, it makes the grass stand up. And you know how
Yes,
like a lawn flock, it just lays there. It's just like little bits of green, sawdust essentially. Well, this takes the hairs of the grass and makes them stand up so it looks like you're walking through the brush. You
it's like
know
a balloon on your hair. And when you
exactly.
rub a balloon, it's static. It brings it up and has it stand up. And you don't got to hold it down there for long. You know, once you apply it, you take it off, and it's there. It stands up.
Yeah, kind of like a mohawk.
And I'm going to warn you, Shadow, if you get one, and anyone else that gets one, um, you've got to once you hold on 1 second.
Okay, well, just send us a link and we'll buy some tufts. Okay, I don't want you and the missus having
Okay,
tufts.
this is the static grass. This is the one I have, the applicator. Now they normally, at least from what I understand, it's got an alligator clip. Okay, with see the little rubber.
Yep.
Okay, you don't have to actually clip the clip onto the base. Okay, you can actually hover it over. Like, let's pretend this was the base. You can hover it over the base or just lightly touch it to it. I got a piece. I commandeered a piece of dang good copper and I put it on the ends because again, 15 mil, and I can keep it away from the base in my hands. And this is the applicator. Now, let me show you something, folks. Let me show you something. I keep a battery. It's two double A's. That's all it takes, two double A. Boy, I keep, oh, buddy, I'll tell you what, it hurts. I keep when I'm done using it, as soon as I'm done using it, I take the battery out because there's no like, see the little red switch? There's no
Mhm.
safety to it. There's no like on and off. You just touch it. Okay. And when you touch it, you got the green, right? Oh, it's charged. It's energized. Ready? Ouch. That'll hurt you. So when you're done applying your grass, okay, always do that to release the charge or you're going to get zapped. And it will be surprising the zap you'll get. Just learned that the hard way. Because, being a man, I didn't read the rules or instructions or anything. And I'm like, okay. And then I was cleaning it out and pow. Oh, boy. I was on the phone with Zadrock. She's like, what the hell happened? I'm like, holy shit. It felt like I got shocked by a taser. Yeah, you can put it on. You can apply it to anything. Like I said on the video, I put some stuff on some terrain, and the terrain uh, I made was out of that pink insulation foam board, half inch. Put some glue on it, shook it on there. Looks great for what it's worth.
Okay, it looks great. James, you're a freak, um, but you're our freak. It's definitely next level, especially like certain kind of minis. I think like your zombies and things like that, zombies and ghouls, undead, lizard men. The idea of them, coming up out of the swamp or higher grass, foliage, whatever. Not just the tufts, which are a great, pre-step to that point. But having your army of mutants or monsters or whatever uh, coming out of that kind of a situation with that kind of an effect. Yeah, yeah. You
It
see how it
works well.
has a completely different look to it than just the static, grass laying flat.
Yeah, yeah, and there's no special static grass. You get army painter. I had a bunch of static grass. I still do that. I always use this to sprinkle on. It works. Like there's no, if it says static grass, it'll work.
It's
Depending
fucking.
on the size, like the millimeter, the size or whatever, the static grass depends on the size of the screen that you sift the stuff through. And see, I still have some static grass. That it's I just keep it in here and lay it on its side, and it don't spill. I don't, you know.
Okay, Mac, you are like the third or fourth person I've talked to in a week that's getting back into that time honored hobby, and good on you. Um, I was doing trains long before, I had the whole piece of sheet of plywood my dad got me, and a little tack hammer, and nailing it all down. Uh, I had to play with it on the floor of the garage after my parents left for work, but I could. I just dropped the board down, started putting stuff on, and then hook up the train to the transformer, and go to town, so to speak. It was I was doing that at like 7, 8 years old, long before I ever held a paintbrush. But the idea that people are getting back into that hobby, right here, man, every one of us should own a set of overalls and a conductor's hat by this point.
Yeah, really. I agree. I remember my granddad's Lionel train set.
Same here. I had one.
I believe I think do we have it in storage or no? We might have it in storage, or did Mr. Mildew commandeer it like a bastard?
Mac, you said
Okay.
there's a word in here I'd like you to clarify. I put it off long enough, so it's our project this summer. Our being you and the wife, you and the kids, you and the neighbor, you and the granddad. As I'm
Or your
curious,
imaginary friend.
could be that too, right? Because um, you know, of all of us, we have to admit, uh, out of all of us, none of us embodies that freaking that look than DM James. So Cold Iron, if you're still out there, I want to see DM James in his freaking overalls, conductor hat, going toot toot somewhere in a
In a
meme.
Hyperborea setting.
Right, all aboard the Hyperborea. That's it, dude. All aboard. He can thank me later, right? Uh, oh, your 10-year-old son. That's freaking epic. That's the perfect
Awesome.
age. Um, James L. They're getting ready to do it before retirement someday. I've got some not H scale, I think it's O scale or N scale trains that the wife picked up at a yard sale. I'm like, really? And this was like 15 years ago. I'm like, really? He's a little too young for that, and then he was a little too old for that. But I had I think it was an N scale. I had like a 6 millimeter scale train set for my epic Space Marines uh, war table. So we'd have this train going around the table as we were playing, Titans, trying to not step on the train or whatever. It was kind of goofy, but it was kind of fun, and we tried to find like a silver line, but we couldn't. All we had was like old timey locomotives and shit. But a nice little silver line would have actually, uh, worked well to, not quite a monorail, but you know what I mean? That would have been kind of epic. Pardon to have a silver line train going around your sci fi battle table. Um,
Nice. Like I was saying earlier, just a second ago. I remember I had my granddad's Lionel train set, tracks, everything, electric controls.
mhm.
I mean, the engine itself was probably a foot long. It was cast iron.
Black.
I mean, it ran off of like hot, yikes, electricity for the dials or for the
Mm,
two levers. The box was for the control box.
same one
It
I
was,
had. Same one.
and it had it actually had the smoke. It would puff the
I
smoke. And
was
back
just
in
gonna
the day,
ask.
you would buy
That was
you would put 2 drops of water and put one little pill in it, and as it ran around, it would warm up and then start to puff the smoke. And I mean,
mhm.
you could smell electricity when that thing was running. I mean,
I, I
I'm
had
sure
that,
those things.
that
I'm
exact.
sure those things caused many unfortunate house fires. But man, was that thing beautiful!
I had that exact model train, and I actually bought it from a junk store across the street. And the guy, someone brought it in, and he let me buy like piece at a time that I could afford, from my allowance and mowing lawns and stuff. The track had the three rails, right?
Yes,
Okay, yeah, same thing. And the
three
and
rails, and he had. We had. I ended up inheriting. You had different houses, the post office, the milk cart, and the milks were magnetic, and it would stop and swap it off if you stopped it at the right time, and the magnets would work. And yeah, yep, yep.
yeah, oh man, I wish I could have saved that because at this point it would be over 100 years old and a hell of a sight to see. Uh,
Oh, same. It would be because my grandfather was born in 1909, 1908.
mhm.
So I'm sure when he got it when he was a kid, it was before the Depression. So it would be 100 years plus.
Mhm. And James L, I believe, or is it DM James? I can't tell. Oh my God! Speak of the
Oh, this
devil.
knucklehead. Oh, jeez. What's up, brother?
How you guys doing?
Just talking about you and your upcoming railway adventures into Hyperborea.
There are no railroads in Hyperborea.
Yeah, it's sci-fi fantasy. What are you telling me? No freaking monorail? What kind of sci-fi are I'm bait and switch, man. False
Probably no
advertising.
monorail, but a wrecked starship is probably a guarantee.
You got to have some sort of public transportation for the snake people.
That's actually true. Like if they have a big settlement somewhere deep underground, they might actually have teleportation pods and key lock doors and all kinds of shit. And the crabmen are an interstellar species. Like they literally build starships and fly to other worlds. So
Oh, okay. Oh, Mac.
and the Migo, you know what a Migo is? They
Hmm.
fly to Pluto all the time.
Hmm. I've got several different versions of that miniature. It's funny. Um, like one of them from Reaper, they're tiny. I mean, they're so completely minuscule. It's like you just kick them, and what are you gonna
Right,
do, right? And then others, like the one from Grenadier, which is in 25 millimeter scale, they're terrifyingly large for 25 millimeter scale miniatures, which might be the next set I do when we do the next miniature video. I've been going, how miniatures have changed over the years. Um,
right. I mean, I have, like you said, a couple of different production runs on the Migo,
mhm.
and they do tend to be all over the place. Where in fact, I mean, they're supposed to be about the size of a human.
You
Mr.
think
Jilster. I think you
that's
got that
that's
right,
Mr.
except for
That's
the
James L.
solution part. But everything else, you're dead on, Mr. Joester.
That's James L.
Yeah, I know. He's the comedian from Chile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got some shirts set up with my wife instead of me.
Okay.
So, well,
Nice.
she really likes a couple of the poses, so I just had her put in them instead of me.
There
Also,
you
you
go.
saw the miniatures I got, right? I'll have to get her miniatures now.
You
Well,
Actually,
think?
yeah.
when my
I,
dog
I was
comes in,
feeling.
that'll be a perfect thing to put like on our mantelpiece. Me as
I
Heck
the
told
yeah.
you the other
miniature.
day you got to get the whole family portrait. You got to get the whole family portrait in 3D. You know.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I don't think you got to see them, Squirrel Hermit, but they're like 32 heroics, and it looks just like me.
it is actually
It's uncanny.
kind of neat.
Hold on a second. I'll show you something I got on my son. What? How many years ago? 2, 3 years ago? 4 years ago? 4 years ago? Hold on. I'll grab it.
And then, of course, Cold Iron finally put himself in a one of the pictures. But for some reason, Bear looks like he wants to bite his face off, and I'm pointing at him like I'm mad about something. But I just said no, exactly what I needed, a fellow adventurer. So you're too busy hanging out in the nice, warm, temperate climates of Arduin, swimming in the creeks, not a care in the world. I'm freezing my nuts off.
Arduin's a whole world with every clime and climate you can imagine. And it just so happens that the Shadow and Sun Mountains are quite nice this time of year. Just saying.
I love that you work so hard for them that they name something after you. That's like a
Me.
tiny it's like a tiny scrap of immortality, you know?
Mhm, mhm. Well, there's more to come. No spoilers, but they've said that they've got some other things they want to do for me and Jack and Tenkar too. Tenkar's Tavern is on the map. That's freaking awesome. I mean, even more so than what they did for me. Tenkar's Tavern, it's just like begging to be. You know what I mean? There, it's just like they
Has he ever drawn a blueprint of his supposed tavern?
I don't know. That's a great idea. Hold on one second. Can you guys hold on the fort for me?
I
I'll be
can.
right back. Okay. Yeah, the squirrel's not here.
Yeah, like I'm saying, guys, maybe because I don't talk to Tinker very much. Not because of any purposeful reason, but just because it's the way things go. But if Tinker were to draw up a decent blueprint of Tinker's Tavern, I'm paying attention, Squirrel Hermit, and then like just make it a thing, I would add a Tinker's Tavern to one of my towns for sure.
Yeah, why not?
Tinkar, I'd even maybe he could come up with a he used well, Tinkar is a retired cop, isn't he?
I believe so. Yes.
So he could even come up with Tinkar's Tavern. It was owned or is owned by like retired city guardsmen, and
Yeah.
I mean he could do a whole
Or
thing with that. That would be
he could
awesome.
he could even run the Tinkerton, Tencarringtons, something like a security force that he's retired, but yet he's the chief. You know what I mean? He's not in the field.
He could do something like that out of a room in the tavern.
Yeah.
So do it like the Romans used to, where like the people who own the building typically have like an apartment upstairs,
Yep.
and that would be really good. Somebody who talks to Tenkar a lot more than I do should be like, "Look, dude, you got to do that."
That would be cool. Speaking of miniatures of like
Yeah,
family
I'm
members
dying
and
to see
whatnot,
it.
this now you can see how big it is. Here's a bottle of water.
Yeah, I see. Yeah,
That's of my son.
Somebody actually did that for you?
Yeah, there was a store. I don't know if it's still in existence or not, but there was a store that was in a mall, Eastwood Mall, Warren, about 45 minutes away from here. What they do is you can stand in this area where it's got I don't know how many different cameras and it pictures every bit of you, and then they print it out, and in a couple days, there it is.
That's really cool.
And what the neat thing is, like if you had like if I were to bring in my cat or a small dog or a pet, they charge you by size. But if you bring in like an infant or a cat or a small dog or a pet, they don't add that into the charge. You know what I mean? So you could have like a mom and dad with the newborn. They'll charge for the size of the mom and dad with, but not the newborn in their arms. And this is the name of the
Very
place.
cool.
I don't know.
MPM Global LLC.
Yeah, MIME.
So like mine.
Mime. Yeah, it's backwards. Mime Global LLC. I don't know if they're in a mall or anywhere down near you, but I would suggest it. I mean, how much was this?
I got mine for just about $20, and they are dead on heroic scale for D&D.
Yeah, I think this was like 60 or 80 bucks. But I
That
mean,
would be,
for a memento,
you need to bust that out there on a table one day and be like, you see this giant? He's just kind of wandering around.
exactly,
You know,
That
exactly.
is
You need to
freaking
see the
dope.
giant Fenton.
Fenton. He's not really
Yeah, that
doing much. He's just kind of chilling. you
yeah,
know,
he's kind of chilling, but you want to piss him off, look out.
I don't want to piss him off, so I'm not going to look out.
But I mean, it's the details nice.
Oh yeah, at that size, the company I go through, they offer like up to like I don't know 6 inches tall,
Yeah, this like I
but
said,
the
this is
smallest they call 40 millimeter. But and I was worried they were going to be too tall, but as soon as it showed up, I put it right next to one of my standard knights, and it was my heroics. So like
Mhm.
my standard like wargaming stuff from Gripping Beast, it is about half a head taller, which I like because he should be.
Zadrock just informed me the acronym for the MIME is Made in Memphis Entertainment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
it's a U.S. company. Uh, yeah, I my mom come down and visited. Well, I got this in 2021, so she come down and visited 5 years ago, and my son and
Then
I
there you
went in
go.
there and did this, and then well, we knew she was coming to visit, or no, she came down and visited. We did this, and then she has one as well of her grandson. So she's got this down in Naples, Florida, with her on her shelf.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Mac, Villains and Vigilantes can be a whole lot of fun with the right DM. Traveler, it like of all of my games, Traveler always seems to come in as my second favorite genre in game. You
Yes,
know,
I do like Traveler,
Where,
and I like it's
where
just
is
the
that coming?
rules.
I was
Where,
just reading back a little bit where Mac said about wanting to play Traveler before he dies.
um,
Specifically, Mac, I play 2300 when I can because I'm a weirdo when it comes to artificial gravity. It's
I
kind of
mean, of
like
all the
how
things you're going to hand wave when it comes to sci-fi, that one blows me away. Um,
no, because I'm willing to hand wave faster than light because you have to. Otherwise, you're
mm,
playing the expanse, which could be cool.
well, I mean, like Star Frontiers did the 2001 kind of thing. The reason I liked
In
do the
Star
artificial.
Frontiers, if you hit a certain speed in real space, it caused you to enter a state where you started going like much faster than light. There was like a way. And in 2300, they have what they call stutter warp. So it works almost like the, yeah, I saw that, James L. It works kind of like the standard Traveler jump drive, but instead of
Mhm.
jumping you parsecs, it jumps you like 100 meters. So the engine is designed to rapidly cycle.
So kind of like an ion pulse drive.
I guess it's like you're moving faster than light. You're in real space somewhat, but not somewhat. Like you can't have space combat if somebody's in stutter warp because it's impossible, you know.
Mhm.
You got to drop into real space. And then after you do, instead of like, oh, well, I've jumped whatever, now I got to work on the engines. At the end of so many light years of travel, you have to find a sun or something so that you can discharge the engine into a gravity well. If you keep trying to use it and you don't discharge it and repair it, eventually you're going to run into problems.
I like
And
using the
to interrupt real quick to answer James L, Mr. Gistar, uh, Gilster, whatever it is, I can't quite see.
It's
it's Jay
Australian.
Lister.
It's not a real language.
No, I cannot. I have yet to bump into anyone except for one time. The last Gary Con I went to was 2 years ago when I was wearing this shirt. Recognize what Harn is.
Well, I know what it is. So if I ever saw you, I'd be like, oh, Harn. Cool. Yep.
I
War
like
Games Atlantic has said they're making 2300 miniatures. It's been a year since they announced it. But I tell you what, I'm definitely getting a box of Kafer for sure.
Oh,
Uh,
hey, I wanted to tell you, James, or yeah, James. Um, Bronze Age Miniatures has some of the best, and they're metal. I know you don't like metal for whatever reason, you lunatic.
because they're
Um,
hard to cut apart. I told you. I keep telling
I know,
you over and over again.
I know, but it's funny because I, I just showed up. Hold on a second. Where the frick did he go? I freaking cut off the ankh and flipped it upside down and pinned it. It can be done.
Oh,
Um,
of course
but
it can be
Yeah,
done.
when you're kit bashing or whatever, rearranging or well, whatever they call it, I would go with plastics, yes. But however, I like metals too because I don't really funk with what I buy.
right, I usually get it right when I buy it. But check it out. Write this down right now, DM James. Bronze Age Miniatures has some of the best Draslight, Yazarian, and whatever the other funky Rusk, I think they were,
Yeah.
miniatures. Okay. And
Bronze
it's not like,
Age miniatures. I'm looking and it keeps wanting to show me actual miniatures from the Bronze Age.
just, it's there. They're in
Is it
Utah.
my Shopify, maybe?
No, no. If I have to, I'll send you the link. But they have some
Oh,
great
I
28
found it.
mil in their sci-fi section or the new releases. They have got some great Star Frontiers, Brusk, Drastlight, Usarians, whatever, and in different poses that are
Oh,
better
look
than
at
anything
that.
I.
Mantoids, Cimmerians,
It's going to be your new favorite, dude. I'm telling you.
Phasmites. Those are pretty good. Oh,
They
the
really
worms. Oh my goodness gracious.
they make a really good Conan and Red Sonja, but they're not called
Nice.
that because of obvious reasons. But I just saw one of their new releases is a 4 pack of Fafford, Grey Mouser, Shilba of the Eyeless Face, and whoever Ningula, whatever of the Seven Eyes. You know the wizards that they work
Yeah,
for
we're like
24.
aliens.
Right. There's like the 4 miniatures for like $24.
Oh
You know,
no! Right now, I'm totally like freaking on these sapphire figures.
I'm telling you, dude.
They
I
call
just
them
made
the
an
worms,
order.
but I mean,
I just
damn.
made an order of 7 of the giant four-armed Martians that are no longer in available because uh, he was selling these 54 millimeter size Martians from John Carter for 13 and $15 a piece. Hold on, I'll break one down here. Ooh, oh, he didn't break. Thank God.
Gravity,
Check
it's everywhere.
check this shit out.
Is that a slee stack?
No, it's from John Carter, dude,
Oh, that's one of the green Martians.
and the big beastie that they rode on.
Nice.
Okay, Jackie and I each did one of these, but the Green Martian, they're just fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
cool. That's really cool.
and they've got the Martian women all topless. Uh, uh, just so much John Carter stuff. Literally the best. These dino things, they're actually resin because it would be insane otherwise.
Yeah.
But everything else they make is literally they're like one of the best miniature companies I've ever come across. And he was nice enough to let me buy a bunch of the stuff because the Green Martians are going out of production or whatever because they're just too expensive and too hard or something. But I got some of the last ones, and in a couple of days, I'm going to be making another order of I don't even know what. There's so much great stuff. I have the Red Sonja. I have the Conan. I've got John Carter, Deja Thoris, Cantos Can, the Lions, the Plant Men, just all of that great stuff that I can use in any game, not just John Carter, because it's just great, freaking, just absolutely some of the barbarians, the sci-fi characters, the steampunk characters. I'm telling you, it's going to be one of your new favorite sites. Um,
I do kind of dig wizards and their heroes.
that's Fafford and Grey Mouser,
Oh, I know who it is, and I'm just saying
right? They're perfect.
they are 100% perfect for
Yeah, they're
Hyperborea.
kick ass. They're kick ass.
Enjoy, enjoy, dude.
Well,
Um,
thank you too, and they're not that expensive at all. You
no,
know,
and you don't need to. It's I get kit bashing and scratch building and modifying, but if you find something that's perfect, then
so
just run with
Fafford is
it.
probably a Viking from the frozen north,
Mhm.
and the Grey Mouser grew up in the city of Comarium, and then these wizards, God only knows what the hell they are. See, and they fit right into Hyperborea seamlessly.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep.
And the
Now
wizards. I
Hyperborea,
mean,
I will say Hyperborea kicks ass. I mean, it's not entirely my jam, but it kicks ass.
Well, I mean, these miniatures kick ass. I mean, I'm looking at them. They're 32 heroic. I like that. And Fafford, they got Fafford perfectly.
mhm.
I
Wait,
mean,
wait till you go see the other miniatures in the sci-fi fantasy realm. Uh, there's a lot of stuff that's definitely not safe for work kind of thing. But I mean, if you're going to do John Carter, then there's certain things you got to do right. I'm just
well,
saying.
Yeah.
everyone at my table is adults. This Mel
Now
Gray Elf, Wolf Lord.
I will say this. I'm going to interrupt real quick. I will say this.
Yeah.
Whenever I say it's not my jam, that means I probably won't run it. That don't mean I won't join in a game of it.
Mhm.
Hmm. I like their orcs. Not quite pig faced enough, but I do like them.
I literally, if for some reason somehow he said, "Hey, I am going to send you every single one of my miniatures," I would paint every one of them, and I wouldn't stop painting until I painted them all. Um,
Otherworld, I think had the best pig face miniatures.
They did, but I'm looking at this guy's pig faced miniatures, and they're pretty damn good.
mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sure they're kick butt. I mean, I haven't looked on the page yet. I'm sure they're
Bronze
kick
Age
butt.
miniatures.
Otherworld, I really liked. I'm saddened that Otherworld went under. They're out of business, but
but
man, they
didn't
had
somebody
some
pick?
classic
I thought
sculpts.
somebody picked them
Classic
up.
sculpts.
yeah, they got picked up by Badger Games
There you go.
because I've even ordered from Badger Games since then.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, the deal is basically the guy was running the whole thing by himself, and he's just an older dude. And he just got
Yep.
where he's like, oh, the Greek adventurer with the helmet that has like the two horses facing each other. That is badass.
I'm telling you, dude.
Oh
I
no, no, you're gonna cause me to get a divorce or something over here. Forget it.
Yeah, when you look at the harem, it's like a group of like 12 women for like 22 or 30 bucks, and they're all pewter in different poses, so you could like spread them out and do all kinds of things with them. If you needed that. The the Martian warrior dudes, your rank and file, all have that perfect look to them. The plant men are okay. Here I got to show you these because these are like okay. See if I can pull up. I got it. Easy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, this was the original, or actually, God, my bald spot's getting worse by the day. Heritage Miniatures had the first licensed Plantman and John Carter. God dang it! Okay, this schlocky clump of metal, right?
It almost looks like the creature that drained all the salt out of the
I
crew
know,
on
but it's
that
it's
world.
giant. Here's a 28 next to it.
So they're calling the pig-faced orc Cersei's children.
Okay, but then Bronze Age did them like this, more like the Michael Whalen artwork, and they're
Wow.
Nice.
just they're way better. Just absolutely, uh, just you guys know. I mean, my John Carter poster is still up. It's, one of my favorite uh, IPs of all time. Just there's so much good stuff there, and the historicals are great. The barbarians are great over there. Um, there's a couple of steampunk minis that are pretty nice. I'm trying to think of all the different stuff that they have, and uh, I'm pretty sure I made the order, and the next day they were in the mail. They might be in my
Well, these
mailbox
guys are
as
in
we speak.
Utah.
And I think his name is David Soderquist. Uh, nice guy. I've dealt with him before. I've talked with him on the phone before. I don't think he realizes that the order that I made is going to be on the show. I'll show off this. You know, uh, 7 giant freaking pewter 54 millimeter tall Martians was less than $100. Some of them were $13 a piece. I mean, I've seen 3D printed 28 millimeter humans for that price.
Yeah.
Cersei, isn't that from? Uh, wasn't that spelled with an X though?
I don't know, but it's supposed to be from the Odyssey
Yeah. Of course.
when
Uh,
they turned all of the crew to pigs.
yeah. I've actually read the Odyssey several times in my life. Uh,
They could have called it they could have called them Bab Morta's pigs too from Willow.
oh yeah,
I like these four-armed apes.
Yeah,
That's some pretty
those are
neat
really nice.
form.
They're a little small, in my opinion, but they're not. You know, the one in the movie was like a mutant of them, but still, they are very good.
Yeah,
The
I like the
the
poses.
mhm.
And then they got that one multi-legged thing. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I found out something interesting last night. I'm going to rumor about.
All right, come on, come on.
Richard does not like Willow. He says he hates it.
The movie.
That's
Yep.
a pretty. That's a pretty harsh opinion. I've seen it like twice. I don't hate it. I definitely won't watch the second one, but it
I'll
was just
lean
like,
in. I will lean in his direction.
yeah, meh is about as far as I would go.
I don't know
To
about hate, but meh.
yeah. I mean, I can say I hate the Conan movie. That's for me. That's different. Willow was just like it was a brand new thing, so you can't really, it's like Beastmaster. I mean, you can criticize the cinematography or the some of the schlockiness of it, but the world itself is a totally unique thing with unique lore and
How
fact.
could how could anyone ever dream of criticizing Rip Torn and his fake nose?
People
He
did.
he
I mean,
he was the evil priest in Beastmaster.
yes,
Yeah.
and I mean, I love that movie. It wasn't just because hey, Beastmasters on, I mean, HBO uh,
It's
played it
always on, and it's like almost always free.
incessantly, but the opening scene, the redhead, always followed her career. I loved her as Sheena Virginia.
Oh, Tanya Katane or something like that.
No, her. I think Tanya or something similar to is her first name. I can't remember because so many actresses, so little time. But
Okay,
that's
so
super.
yeah, all of the Martians are basically got their boobies hanging out. I like some of them. The ones without guns, or even the ones with guns, could
Yeah,
easily
like
be used in Hyperborea.
Everything the guy does, and I believe he's also a one man operation that's been in business as long as my channel's been around. Um, and I'm there's some of my absolute favorite miniatures that I own, and I don't actually own but one of the booby miniatures. That was Deja Thoris. You got to have her. Um,
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm digging the Amazons too. They're pretty badass.
mhm, mhm. I'm going to hopefully help that guy
I've
out.
already started this webpage, Shadow. Added it to my quick bar.
Good deal. Good.
noise, noise.
Right. I'm just uh,
I've already found like 10 things that I'm like, oh yeah,
mhm, mhm.
I'm gonna have to get that.
And do me a favor and maybe tell them Shadow and Son sent you.
Yeah, well,
And keep them keep going back because I've been buying from him for about a decade. Even before I was doing the channel, I found his miniatures just by sheer chance, and I've got my original, like, it's funny. My original one of these things, they're called thoats, I think. Um, the first one I got from him, it's, I kid you not, it's about this big. It's like cartoonishly small, but I still
right.
have it. I never painted it or anything because it was like really crummy resin back in the day, but I still have it, and I still think I'm gonna keep buying stuff from this guy
Mhm.
um, till the cows come home. Just there's a lot of
Yeah,
things about it that I
everyone
did
being
like.
like Willow was meh. Maybe I'm gonna stand out here and say I love that movie primarily because of uh Val Kilmer as Mad Mardigan.
It was
Yeah,
good.
he did good. That
I,
was that
I
was
thought
very good. I like that one.
and I didn't mind the two brownies either. You know,
Well,
No.
even Willow
Iggy
himself
and
wasn't
Squiggy or
was
whatever.
right.
Yep.
Even Willow wasn't awful. It just
But
it was just
it was a really kind of, we all knew the story.
yeah, and it was kind of like I'm just gonna say kind of kid friendly, you know.
Well, it was for
Uh,
kids.
so of
No, it
course it's
wasn't.
not.
It
I
wasn't
love
necessarily
General
kid
Tell.
friendly, but just for me personally, it was. It was good. It was, but meh. I will
Hey,
General
watch it.
Tell was like
I've watched it
badass.
once a year, once every other year at least, to dust off the old chestnut, to revisit a classic. I'm not going to say
Right.
it's not a classic, but as far as myself, eh. I mean, there's a lot of classics that I will say are classics, but for my taste, meh.
Well,
Beastmaster classic.
yeah.
Um,
Hawk
Crawl
the
classic.
Slayer,
Hawk this.
Crawl.
That was a
Crawl,
little.
now see, Crawl, I'll watch a couple times a year. For me, that's something about it. Just
You know
plucked a
what? You know what?
certain chord.
It's actually one of the closest movies to a lot of my games because of the sort of like high tech but not high tech feel to the bad guys. You know the aesthetic of their armor and weapon
Right.
is because it could all be magic, right? The ray guns or whatever those weird halberdy things were, but maybe it's technology. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that when it hits you, it's doing 66 damage, and you might want to get behind some cover. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everything else about it, I had it on Laserdisc, so I watched it. I think I even have the comic book for Marvel. It was just, there were things about it I didn't like, but other things that I really did like, and it's on the list. Of is it in the top 10? Probably not, but it's definitely if I had like a nephew or something that was just getting into the hobby, it'd be like, yeah, watch this.
Now I've been telling you guys about this. I've brought it up a couple times off and on. Um, Last night, Knights. Last night. Have you seen it?
No,
Please watch it.
send me a link, or I will forget about it. Not uh,
Both of you fellas, please watch it.
Hold on. I may have watched it. I'm actually looking up to see if I remember watching it.
I really
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
Clive Owen, where there he's actually playing like no, this ain't the one.
Nope.
No, I thought this was the one where he was playing Arturius and he had all of the uh
To me,
uh
I would call it a sleep.
formations
It's
with
something
him.
a lot of people haven't seen, especially in our hobby, doing what we do, participating in what we do. But I'm telling you, it's worth it at least one time. Got
Yeah,
a lot of good
yeah.
actors, good actresses. It's
Okay.
it's worth it.
okay. Take your word for it.
Yeah, it is not the
Was
one
that
I
Heath
thought.
Ledger?
No,
It's Clive Owen and
Morgan Freeman's in it.
Morgan Freeman.
Hmm. Doesn't sound
Uh,
familiar.
No, I'm telling you, that's why I said it's a sleeper, guys. It's a sleeper movie, and man, I really enjoy it. You guys might
yeah.
think it's dog shit, but I enjoy it.
Well, I mean, I'm going to definitely look at it. 100% guaranteed.
It's got a good story. Good. Watch it till the end. Good story.
I'm going to.
Cool action. Neat action. The whole world setting is really cool.
Now, since you want to mention little known movies that were cool, I forget the name of the movie, but it had Sean Bean in it, and he was leading like a party of witch hunters, and they went across
Yes,
the swamp.
yes.
And it ended
I,
up they were witches, and they captured them and started like killing them and shit.
I know, I know. I can't remember that movie. I've seen it. That's a good sleeper as well because they
Yeah,
capture him in the village and they drown him as part of they kill him.
yeah,
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 not the witches, but the witches captured the people. They tricked them. It was like a cult
yeah,
village.
yeah. The whole village was this weird cult, and they drugged all of these knights and then put them in a big cage and was killing them as
Yep,
sacrifice to
yep. That
whatever.
is a good one too. That's a sleeper. I
Yeah,
forget the name
Halloween's
of it
good.
as well. Damn it.
and I'm pretty sure
That's
Sean
a good.
Bean dies.
Yeah, well,
Well,
seeing
of
me,
course,
he's got it now.
it's in his contract. It's
Yeah,
like Dangle has to wear shorts in everything he's in.
yeah. If your
Dangle,
name is Sean Bean, you got to die. Sean Bean, you got to die. Sean Bean, you're dead. It's over.
Dangle, or Dingle. Yeah, Officer
It's
Dingle.
literally in his contract. I don't know why, but it is. That's his thing. Okay, fine.
Black
You can.
Death. Mac Thompson called it out. Black Death.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Write
I
that down, Shadow. Black Death. Write down Last Nights. Both very,
I
very good.
gotta find paper. Oh my god. Oh shit. Normally I already
Oh,
have
good
my
Lord. This 50-something-year-old dude's got to pick up a piece of paper and a pencil.
pencil. What are those?
What a hassle.
I never use pencils. I never make mistakes.
did you just
What do
call
I
him a
need?
Habsburg?
No, I said, what a hassle.
Oh, I thought you said what a Habsburg, and I was just sitting here thinking that is an interesting kind of that's kind of an interesting burn, you know.
That
Like
would be, no, what a
since
hassle.
since the Habsburg family was so inbred,
Yep.
and then to
No,
be like what a
not,
Oh, I
Habsburg.
that's
got it.
not,
Susan said Hasberg. I got it.
I was thinking actually like hemophiliac, but okay.
That was a thing, but have you that one king? He had what they called the Habsburg chin, and
It's funny
it
you mentioned that, James. I've been watching a lot of videos on the Sumerians and things like that, and I'm like, I'm pretty certain that every one of those translators is just freaking making shit up from
just
Zachariah
making
Sitchin.
it up.
They're all just making up shit. They got together like, okay, we're gonna say this. Okay, it means this. Okay, and we all are gonna stick to the freaking story. And then freaking Zachariah Sitchin came along and went, yeah, but I'm gonna add all this sci-fi shit, which is just
Yeah, who knows? That's all. I don't know. I wasn't around then, so I couldn't tell you how it was. That's all
I
I know.
was, but I was on the other side of the planet, so I don't know exactly what was going on, and there was no cell phones and stuff, so it took a while for the story to get to me. And Season of the Witch, Nick Cage and Ron, yeah,
I
That's
Season.
like
actually a
Season
fun
of
one.
the Witch,
Yeah, but
That's a
even
fun
though
one.
I'm
it
just gonna
does
be
have
throwing
that
shit at my
stupid
TV every time
Neanderthal
Ron
in it.
Perlman comes on, though. I can't keep going through TVs.
Yeah, Ron Perlman's an idiot, but he's good in that show.
That was one of his few.
He was good
I don't
in
want to say gems. I don't want to say gems, but that was one of his few shiny pennies as far as his film, his acting.
Yeah, he was
Ron
good.
Perlman had one of the two best lines in Mutant Chronicles. The first one was when Thomas Jane's character, Mitch Hunter, gets threatened. If you do this or that, I'm going to kill you. And he looks at him and says, "Why wait?" And then Ron Perlman's line is, "Abandon all hope, motherfuckers."
Yeah. Well, I
Great,
mean,
love that movie. I know it's cheese and it's terrible and it's so off the freaking trail of Mutant Chronicles, but the best $5 I ever spent.
it's weird because I don't think it would have been that hard for them to actually have done the movie correctly.
You know what happened was they were working on it for so long, that a lot of that shit that they had filmed, they just kept from the earliest beginnings of like the working on the movie and stuff, and they just said,
Uh,
"Well, we got all this footage. Let's just use this and keep going." And I'm like, It's fine. Someday, someone will get it right, and it's gonna blow people's minds when it because it's so easy to just like catch up and feel like you're okay. I'm up to speed within like 12 minutes. You're like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to side with these guys or those guys. They're obviously something I can relate to, and let's go, brotherhood.
well, I mean, yeah, yeah, and hopefully, eventually, they will get a budget,
Huh?
and they'll be able to make the movie correctly.
Even I would even settle for a BattleTech esque quality cartoon, but like a full 22 episodes minimum. You know,
You just want to see the Brotherhood go up against those damn demon possessed cybernetic things.
fuck yeah. I mean, think about it, man. Who in their right mind would not want to be a freaking mortificator, which is a freaking power armored ninja with spellcasting abilities that works for the Holy Church, hunting down heretics and demonic possessed things hiding in polite society. Who would
You
not
know,
want
one
that
of the things that they got really interesting in that whole series is the fact that demons could possess AI. That's kind of genius. You know what I mean?
job? Hmm.
And it also it always opens up Bauhaus for questioning, because you know how the Bauhaus guys always fielded those big cybernetic units.
No, you're thinking Cybertronic.
Oh yeah, Cybertronic. They had like the big A, supposedly not AI, and everybody's like, wait a minute here though. I mean,
Mhm.
because
Yeah, in a diesel slash steampunk future, you cannot have artificial intelligence because the dark symmetry will invade it and start, turning hospital ventilators off and crashing starships, etc. So they had their own Butlerian jihad, and then centuries, if not millennia, passed, and people forgot about that shit, and it came back in a big way, depending on which era you want to play in, which is another great thing about the universe of Mutant Chronicles. You could play in different eras and have different kinds of conflict, whether it's corporate versus corporate, Brotherhood versus Dark Legion, Brotherhood versus corporate, corporate versus Dark Legion versus Dark Legion, even because they had their own four apostles plus the thing that you can't mention, which I thought was better than the way GW did it. They both have their four apostles, right, of the different aspects of evil, but Warzone actually went one further and had one guy on top, which you kind of gotta you gotta have one guy on top, otherwise the four aspects of evil would eventually like go at each other full bore, and you'd only have one, right?
well, and they were basically the four horsemen,
Yes.
right? That was the because you had the mutant one, or the famine one, and the war one.
And dark symmetry or magic like Tzich, and you had I think they actually had five maybe. Luigi, Samal, Algaroth, Ilian, and Demnagonis. So they had five.
Huh.
But one of was insanity, one was plague and foul nastiness, one was war, one was like sloth, if you will, or something like that, and then of course one was the apostle of war, which is the one that you almost never saw the other ones because the miniature company just like went whole hog on Algaroth, making all kinds of warrior types, and kind of slacked off on the
The
other.
rest of it, yeah.
Uh, I,
So
I, I'm I'm actually very impressed with the research you've done, Mac, in a lot of those things. Uh, I did some too, but not all as part time. I didn't go to school for it, but since I was like 9 or 10, I got my copy or my dad's copy of Chariots of the Gods, and from that point, every time I could read about all the weird shit that's connected, and come to my own conclusions, especially in light of current events and how the mainstream media blatantly lies to our faces and does certain things that clearly are evidence to me and what they're really up to.
I'm looking at the Algoroth source book, and it also tells you how to play a heretic in the role playing game. The
Yeah,
art, it looks like the black and white art in this is done by the same dudes that did early Shadowrun.
could be, could be.
It's got
Uh,
that same look. Let's
mhm.
see. We've got, oh, okay. Oh, careers. If you choose to go into this thing, you can become a destroyer, a reaper of souls, a technomancer.
They had so much great stuff. Uh, which in a lot of ways, they had like very like the names that you're mentioning. Those had very definitive parameters, looks, and purposes. Whereas like chaos, it's like it's super vague. You know what I mean? Even within the four groups, it's like yeah, they're just they're this or they're that. These guys had like uh, very definitive. Uh, Operating procedures and spheres of influence and uh, like duties,
Mhm.
versus just mayhem, just go and kill shit. Well, no, these guys did like very specific things, and it wasn't always just destruction. A lot of times it was different forms of infiltration and manipulation.
One of my favorite miniatures of all time, Shadow, is just the standard undead trooper.
Yeah, the Legionnaire or the Centurions.
Yeah, it's just like this rotten skeleton dude holding like a Craddock, they call it, but it's like an AK-47.
The Cratch, I think, or something like that.
Right. And it's just like now one of my most hated units because the guy I played against a lot, Phil, brought these back Razides. They're like giant, super muscular mutants with like super
That
big guns,
always operate in teams of twos. I think
something like that. And that they are not fun. But yeah, there was just something so super cool just about the basic Legionnaires. The just that they were the coolest. But supposedly they're trying to bring Mutant Chronicles back.
they have. I've got it. I got the newest edition. Oh,
Oh,
excuse me, not Mutant Chronicles. Mutant Chronicles is the RPG that Modifius redid, and I didn't
okay.
like it, but they did a great job. I'm not, what I
So
would
what they
like to
bring
do.
back? Warzone?
Yeah, Warzone is now in its fourth or fifth incarnation, and it's all 3D printed resin bullshit, overpriced. Even though my mini factory is doing, you can get everything there, but you can still go to I think it was Prince August Miniatures and get them in metal, or you can go even further back and find them in plastic. Um, it uh, you can literally get the original like miniatures in metal for like $4 or $5 a piece, or you can pay $15 for a 3D printed miniature. But the reason it's so expensive is because it comes with swappable heads and guns.
Oh,
I don't need, if it's a Sunset Striker and he's got his freaking samurai swords and his freaking machine gun. What more do I need? Do I really need him facing this way as opposed to that way? Or you know what I mean? It's like I really don't need all the modularization that they tried to
Is the
make
new
me
one
pay.
called Warzone Eternal?
I believe so.
Hmm. I still got a shit ton of Rangers, and I still got the big black dude with the machine guns on his shoulders. So,
Mac and James
so
are talking history. You guys know my 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 take on it. It's fake and gay
what is
history.
history?
I'm oversimplifying it. It's I don't know where to start. I don't know who to trust, and in the long run, it won't matter.
Uh,
As a Christian, it's meaningless. You know, 20 million years from now, I'm not going to be pining for Earth.
Probably not.
I certainly hope not, because that sounds even worse.
Now, when you
You
go to
know,
heaven, you forget about everything earthly and everyone earthly that is not saved as well.
that is one interpretation that I've heard. I'm okay with. I hope it's a little bit more. Like
That's one of the reasons why one should at least say, hey, you ever think about Jesus? Because I'll miss you when I'm in heaven, even though you won't, because you won't
right.
remember them, know of them. I would like to see you there, though, so we can continue on being friends, loved ones, etc., and being good people.
Oh, look at this! You can just download the core
That's neat,
rules as a
James.
PDF for free.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you guys think about it, these days, when it comes to every game out there, there should be some sort of like, you know, first one's free. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Starter rule set. Uh, I've touched some history as well, James, but uh, it was usually the kind with the two lightning bolt S's on it, and it wasn't a magical experience. My dad had so much of that stuff, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
and her name is
I mean, but
Erica.
mind you, I've touched stuff on our side, the GI Joe side, if you will. It's
Oh, they got the one guy, Duncan from Games Workshop, teaching you how to paint your Warzone miniatures.
nice.
Yeah. Oh, unfortunately, they got that one goofball, Goobertown, doing it too.
Goobertown. The redheaded guy. Oh God, I hate that guy. Oh God. Oh my God. He is so
I used to
fake.
watch him all the time, but then, like,
I don't get me wrong. I did too. But when I saw the canoe episode, I'm like, unsubscribe.
yeah,
You are a pussy and you're fake. Because nobody with guns like that talks like that, acts like that for real in the real world. You know what I mean?
uh, here we go. Capital, the best. Oh, the Capital faction starter. He's got a bunch of freaking Rangers.
Uh-huh.
Actually, there's a couple of Martians on there, and uh, there's some Banshees, and there's some of the Star whatever troopers, the guys with the katanas.
The Sunset Strikers, I believe.
So there's two Sunset Strikers, a Banshee, three Rangers, maybe four Rangers, and one of them's got the missile launcher.
Did I ever tell you the story of Big Bob Watts?
Uh, maybe. Oh, they're not calling them Rangers anymore. They're calling them Free Marines.
Oh, okay. Actually, Free Marines were another unit. They
Oh, I
just
might be getting confused then.
well, no. Here's the thing. Each faction had a crap ton of um, units. Free Marines were like the most basic bitch uh, unit for capital. I mean, like your basic entry level was that. I want to say.
Right.
Um, and then there were. I mean, each faction has over a dozen units of various
Yeah,
skill
each faction's got their standard unit and then their
more
um
advanced.
yeah,
I,
their
I must
advanced.
I must interrupt and insist I have to be off. I will send you the
We're
links to
always
the
up.
Coruscant and reminders of last night's
Okay.
movie.
I
And
just
I
wrote
love
it
you
down.
guys. God bless you. And we'll keep in touch.
All
Happy Fourth
right.
of July, brother. Give the wife a hug for me.
Yep.
The Bauhaus guys look badass.
Yeah, the Venusian Rangers and the Venusian Marshal were my second favorite. The Marshal, the guy in the white stormtrooper armor on the horse. I've
Yeah.
got a print of that image a friend made for me. Uh, Very weird circumstance, but I've got that print. I'm waiting to frame. I've got that miniature. That whole, freaking. It's basically a German Texas Marshal, Texas
All
Ranger,
right.
excuse me. Roaming the plains of Venus with his freaking quasi cyber horse, looking for freaking heretics and the possessed and minions of the Dark Legion or spies. Just such a great. And next to that picture is always the grizzly bear, which is like this super heavy freaking style battle tank.
Yeah.
Just absolutely freaking love that.
I wonder if they're gonna add White Star to this.
I wouldn't be surprised. I have when they did the Siege of the Citadel board game, they did include that faction, which is only like three miniatures because it's a like Hero Quest slash Space Crusade game board game, but
All
with
right.
the dark. I mean, with the Warzone, universe. It was so much fun. It's like a really nice entry level game to get into their universe, like Space Crusade was, like Hero Quest was.
All right.
Just lesser known, but it was cool because it had some pretty nasty looking critters that your squad could go up against. And but I've got back in the day they made these miniatures. They're about like 6 inch tall, freaking bio giants of various names and abilities. And I have all of them, and I've never glued them or painted them or done anything with them. Uh, I should because I like painting larger things, uh, there's I mean you know just really wild sci-fi fantasy supernatural dark gothic freaking shit that just was for me, because it stayed in the solar system and was a little
Hmm.
more grounded, was just a lot more easy to digest than this the 40K universe where it's so grand and vague and impossible that it's just it's almost like immature in comparison. Does that make any sense? It's like
You know. Oh, here's the ones that operate in units of two: the Algaroth Praetorian Stalk.
sorry, you're right. That's right. The Razides were not fun either.
Yeah, they're not
Uh,
fun.
yeah, those guys were gnarly because their rifle had this weird like bayonet thing for the behemoths, so that it basically made them rip roaring nasty whether they're shooting at you or in melee, and you really didn't want to be in either because it's like they always traveled in packs of two. Um, so you know, basically it was because they were the antithesis of the Doom Trooper from the Doom Trooper card game, which was a special elite unit of two guys pulled from various parts of the solar system, possibly
Right.
even possibly even opposing corporations. You had a hand-to-hand expert and a ranged expert, and they would become a pair of Doom Troopers, and they would go and do shit. And those two guys would be so well trained that they could kind of handle just about any situation, the two of them, as long as they stuck together, they were, badass. And so Dark Legion said, "Oh, really? Hold my beer."
Right. Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at the necro mutants and the undead legionnaires. They're pretty cool looking.
Unfortunately, guys, my high school education in history was the same shit over and over again. And having the Hitler channel out uh, at some point during that, I think, or maybe later, I found out that everything I was taught was kind of bullshit or watered down, or they avoided certain things because even then they were trying to, push us down a certain path of hating our country, which I didn't buy into. But there's just like there is no one definitive, and a lot of
Mhm.
people were wrong or mistaken or following an agenda when they were writing things. The old expression, history is written by the victors. Well, you know sometimes they didn't always lie, but more often than not they didn't always tell the truth. No
Mm.
matter what country you come from, there's a propaganda department, and they're going to hide their dirt and flout their good deeds and their accomplishments, even if they're some skeletons in the foundation.
Let's
Uh,
see here now. Yeah, you got me looking at stuff now. So if I'm not being whatever, then you can boot me too or tell me
no,
to go away.
I am going to be leaving in a few minutes because I have
Yeah,
to.
I figured you were. It's about that time.
I gotta go do some shopping for the holiday.
Oh, nice. So let's go to
But
eBay
you
and
on
see
some good
what
stuff.
they
Turn me
got
on to
for
stuff over the years.
Warzone. Warzone Mutant Chronicles. Bam. All right.
Yeah, uh, there is one definitive uh, Warzone rule book. It's pretty massive. Anything made in the 2020s is or not, yeah, the 2020s is crap in comparison to the big giant freaking phone book of Warzone, which might also be called Warzone Eternal. I forget the name, but if you're looking for the book, it's not cheap. Maybe it is. I don't know. I haven't looked in a while, but last time I checked, they weren't cheap. But it's got every single unit they've ever made is in it. The rules for every single possible action and situation is all in one giant freaking book, and I loved it because like when it was your turn to activate a unit, each and every model in there had two or three separate actions that you could choose. I mean, you could literally just say, "I'm going to run, 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 run," or "I'm going to run, I'm going to get prone, and then I'm going to aim and wait," or cast a spell, or whatever. Do all these different things versus it's the run phase, it's the jump phase, it's the hand to hand phase, it's the shoot phase. Repeat
All
in
right.
exact same order. It felt more fluid, and you could react better. I mean, like if you made a plan and you were trying to stick to it, uh, and one little thing happened, as we know, can screw up your whole plan, and it's real hard to recover from that. Well, with Warzone, okay, well, whatever your plan is, it's going to be fluid by the virtue of the rules. Your whole plan can change on a dime, and you can actually play that way to adapt and fix mistakes or recover from grievous injuries or losses, not injuries. I mean, if you get hit, you're down, you're dead. That's it. But if that unit goes freaking 6 feet under, you could do
Mm.
stuff to try to compensate or come up with a new plan of action because nothing survives first contact and all that versus so many games where it's like move all your pieces, okay, move all your pieces, I shoot all my pieces and all his pieces just stand there waiting to get shot. I freaking hate that. Oh my god, I hate that so much. So
Yeah,
many.
that's the main reason Warzone actually kind of got big in my area. Is the one thing we've always agreed on over here is that the you go I go idea just sucks.
Mhm, mhm.
But
And they were the innovators of the that system, because even Void and a few other games did the same thing, where each unit, whether it's one machine, one dude, or one squad, that's your turn, so to speak, and then the next guy gets to pick something. Not like I've had so many games where you know I move all my dudes, and then the other guy's phase is to shoot all my guys. You know,
right.
and, and next thing I know, half my army's gone. I'm like, well, that's game, isn't it? You just took out half my guys. I was turn one and a half. I had a plan, but because
Well,
I
that was fourth edition Warhammer. The army was called the Leaf Blower,
yeah.
and it was basically if you won initiative, you just attacked with everything, and if you lost initiative, you waited for him to move, and then you attacked with everything.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it was just designed to be the biggest pain in your opponent's ass possible.
Hmm. And,
So
and ideally, I mean, what would make sense, the most sense, and I am reading your comments, James, um, would be to set up and then just go, I'm done. What do you mean you're done? I'm not moving. I'm staying here for the rest of the game. Come, bring it on.
right.
You know what I mean? That would be the most
Unfortunately,
logical,
the
most
leaf
intelligent thing you could
blower
do.
list was a Imperial Guard list,
Hmm.
and what they actually killed you with was artillery. It was like, I mean, they dared you to get close because they just had shit tons of soldiers and
Hmm.
various other heavy weapons, but
Right.
in the
I learned
background,
my lesson with a Tyranid army with a crap ton of hand to handers, because that's the way the Tyranid army was. And at some point, you had to charge across the battlefield and hope you made it into combat. Well,
right?
I charged across the battlefield, but I didn't make it into combat with half as many things as I wanted. And I just watched Termagant squad after Termagant squad just fucking mowed down. And I'm like, there was nowhere to fucking hide, no matter what I did, So I had to
Yeah, there's
run.
a lot of stuff being sold here for cheap, actually.
Mhm. Um,
Interesting.
I'm curious to see that Void has come back. They had some really cool. They had that big giant bulldog mech walker thing. Oh, I love that thing. Fortunately, the one I got, the neck broke, and putting it back together is going to be kind of tricky. But they had some cool stuff. The grav bikes and just a crap ton of stuff I really loved from that game. But I never I got a crap ton of it, but I never found anybody to play.
Right.
I Google what did you have a little stroke there? Doesn't let you react as much. Oh, I go, you go. Uh, yeah, yeah. Okay, got it.
The I move everything, fire everything, and you sit there for an hour, and then you do it back has always sucked. It's never been a good
Okay, I'm
thing.
writing that down because I really did enjoy a lot of the stuff from that game.
Yeah, they've got a box set of Capital Mutant Chronicles Warzone Capital. It's unopened. It's $50,
Nice, nice.
and it looks like it's the Capital Sea Lions.
Oh, okay. Those were cool too.
Yeah, they're like the Navy SEALs.
Mm-hmm. Cross between them and maybe even the CBs.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, there's still. You're right. I mean, if you and a friend actually wanted to play the game, there's still plenty of stuff. floating around. Plus,
Mhm.
I bet you if you went on Etsy, because Etsy, there's
Yeah.
probably producers on Etsy that actually have the license
Hmm.
to make these things.
Yeah, because as a matter of fact, I think in one of the last Kickstarters, I could be wrong, that there were options for print, and now with my mini factory, having everything as well. Um, it's going to be a matter of time before PDF files are floating around where you can get at them. Uh,
Well,
yeah,
I'm just gonna take a quick look here. Let's see. So, we're not seeing War Zones. Okay, here it is. Warzone Mutant Chronicles Dark Legion, and there's a shit ton of them. Jeez, they got like 20 of the undead troopers there.
hmm Yeah, what was that one guy that scrawny like blackish blue uh Dark Legion dude who had like claws but he had that frisbee of death? Remember him? He carried like a big
Um,
wicked sword and this disc that he would throw at people. What the castigator maybe? I no, I don't think that's right. Um
well, I
I,
remember the one centaur creature too that used to
oh, the
run around.
Ezekiel. Oh yeah. That I've got a metal and a couple plastic versions of that thing. That's like in the board game, that's one of the big brutes. On
Right.
the battlefield, it's just a freaking nightmare. I've seen a lot of activations like that where it's completely hand in a dice bag, random kind of shit. Um,
That's how Bolt Action does it.
that's what he was talking about. I'm okay with that, but I think it would be better for skirmish games if you're doing like a war. Like we each got like a couple hundred minis on a side. Yeah, no, that's way too random. That literally could be letting the randomness decide, and your strategy is just out the freaking door. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what some people love about it is
yeah,
the
but I mean, I want to win because my plan worked. Does that make
right.
any sense?
It does make
Versus
perfect
I got,
sense.
oh my god, I can't believe how lucky I got. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Me and all my planning and staying up nights, plotting shit out, just meaningless. No, I don't want that. That's
Yeah,
that's people win because they prepare. You know, not always. That's not the only reason. You do have random shit happen, but if you
right.
don't prepare, literally you just like wing it every time and still win like a majority of the games just because of sheer luck. I don't want any part of that game. I might as well literally be playing Candyland for money, because
Mm.
there's no strategy. You're just rolling dice, and I
Well,
got
there's
lucky
strategy on
again.
your side,
Yeah,
not on the other side. But anyway, I'll talk to you later.
have a good one.
You have a great one, sir.
I will. Happy 4th of July. Say hi to the fam for me. I'm going to take my leave as well because it's noon o'clock my time, and I got a bunch of crap I got to do to get ready for the 4th of July. Go get some fireworks, get some groceries, get the barbecue ready, all that stuff. I hope you guys do the same. Have a great, great, wonderful 4th of July. Don't catch on fire. Don't catch anybody on fire. Give your family a hug for me. Mr. James, I will talk to you maybe tonight if you're free. Um, but in the meantime, I got to go do some people stuff that only I can do. So happy trails and God bless.